Okay. Sorry. Had a small hiccup. The for some reason I got some sort of weird encoder error when transitioning to a different scene, and I just messed up for a second. I was like, okay, figure it out. Seems fine now. Hey, what's up, Spokane? Spokane Graffiti, how are you doing? So, I forgot we were going to watch the pilot that Chad put out. The MAGA cult is culting harder than ever. I bartend, and the amount of assholes bitching about Fauci and Graham Plattner is still insane. I don't like. Wait, are you talking about like Anthony Fauci? Like, they're bitching about Anthony Fauci? What the? Yeah, what's going on with Fauci? I'm just confused now. I'm like, why? Why is he getting brought up? Is he a bad? I mean, they've characterized him as a bad guy for a while now. Anthony Fauci was the like devil. I'm so not interested, not one bit. I'm curious. I just want to know. The hearing yesterday. Oh wait, there was a hearing yesterday. I didn't even know about it. I didn't even pay attention to it. I also took a day to just not pay attention to anything. I played chess all day yesterday. I was like, yep, I'm gonna do that. Oh, and I put a video out on a different channel. He killed millions of people with his COVID vaccine. What are you talking about? He saved millions of people. He pleaded the fifth. Oh, that's what MAGA is saying. I was like, Kat, we have to have a conversation. I was like, oh, Kat, please don't. I had a moment where I was like, oh, I don't want to do this right now. He played fifth the whole time. I mean, that's so weird. I'm sorry. I had a minor, like a slight heart attack. I was like, oh no, please don't. There's no TNC this week. There is a TNC, but do we want to watch that? I really don't care. They're rehashing all the COVID stuff again. I know why he pleaded the fifth. If I were to go through the motions of him being sitting in front of people being like, hey, we had to rush a fucking vaccine out the door, and your fucking head of the FDA, your head of just everything in general on that side of the equation, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is looking to fuck my life up. It's 4 minutes. I know it's 4 minutes. I was kidding. It'd take you 30 to go through the 4 minutes. I actually don't think it would. I'd probably just sit there, be staring, being like, okay. They're trying to catch him so that, yeah, they can get him for lying in front of Congress. Right. I would have done the same thing. I'd been like, I plead the fifth. I mean, they do it all the fucking time. Why are they special? Why do they get to do it? Why do they get to plead the fifth anytime they're brought in front of anyone? This is just a taste of their own fucking medicine. I'm being very frank and honest. Yeah. Did Maha say they didn't make food healthier? I still see Red 40 in my supermarket. Yeah, 100%. 100%. Red 40 is good for you, though. What's keeping us all young. Wait, I love the ones that were saying Fauci made the AIDS virus too. Double standards for me, not for thee. Exactly. Wait, how did Fauci? Do they not know the history? I actually watched a really interesting video about the AIDS virus. Like I think like a week ago, and essentially the guy who they've kind of blamed for spreading the AIDS virus, he did spread it, but it did not originate with him. It actually goes back, I think, to like the early 1900s. I think 1920s. And I think it does come from. I think it was it chimpanzees? I think, I don't know. I can't remember exactly. Apparently, they're going to reopen something with Hillary too. Anything to not release the Epstein files. Yeah. Hey, what's up, Vitor? How are you doing? I'm good. I'm good. Knowledge of history and MAGA do not mix. I mean, even I'm. Sweetie, I don't even remember what you're talking about. I know. Do you hear about the FIFA president and Jared Kushner? No. Tell me more about that. Chimps in Africa. Yeah. Wait, RFK Jr. said, wait, AIDS doesn't exist? What the fuck is that about? Huh? Wait, I gotta Google that. Here's the thing. They can try and open up all this shit. It's a massive distraction. That's all it is. They know they can't do anything, and so they're giving their base red meat to distract from what is happening right now. You've got a really fractured Democratic Party that is rightly being hit with the DSA stuff, which is great. I'm all for it. And then you have a conservative party that is decrepit, old, and dying, and then on top of that, also falling apart. Hey friends, I have just been force dumped by a friend of 10 years over political differences, and me asking for respect and fairness in the arguments it created because they couldn't avoid the topic. I'm feeling pretty bad today. Sheriff, I get it. I completely understand. I don't think I've ever told the story, but I had a friend who I'd known for years. We talked on and off. He was my best friend in high school, and we were started to rekindle our friendship, and I thought of him as a brother, even if we weren't talking. Then one day out of nowhere, he contacts me and basically he became a Christian Scientist or whatever, and said that the healing touch of his mother is what brought him out of a paralysis. And I had a moment where I was like, I'm really happy you're doing okay. And then he tried to sell me down the river on like joining his cult. And I was like, I can't. It really hurt me because I was just like, I thought we were, I thought he was going to come around and be like, hey, I'm back. I want to be around you. I want to, hang out, all that stuff. He was one of the few people from my childhood that I was close to. And when we touched base with each other, I always felt like we're getting fixed. They're like, hey, like let's start hanging out again. And then that came up, and then that killed me. I was just like, okay, I don't think I can have a friend like that again. But I know time helps with that. The ultimatum was this: basically, let me keep disrespecting you or stop talking to me. Parrish, that's an abusive relationship. And I'm glad that you're out of it. I think you should look at it that way. Like, glad that you are stepping away from it. It's not happening anymore. You're not having to deal with that. I didn't want to grant permission to keep getting hurt that way. Also, I didn't want to stop talking to them. Sometimes that stuff is good. Because maybe they'll reflect on their actions and they'll come back and be like, hey, I was wrong. Think about it this way. You didn't lose their friendship. They lost your friendship. And they didn't deserve you to begin with. That's how I'd have to frame it, because I would be probably a mess too. Look into it. FIFA president threatening football federations with some BS unless they accept to a plan to sell off parts of FIFA organized by some company that Jared Kushner's brother owns. Wait, hold on. I'll be honest with you, I'm not into the soccer thing, but that sounds crazy. Like I'm trying to wrap my head around like I'll have to research a little bit more. That's kind of nuts. That's really crazy. Well, let me go through here. Yeah, I spoke to the person literally every day for 10 years, so I'm feeling pretty lost. I get it. But you have us. We're around. Don't forget RFK Jr. thing. Yeah. I'm going to Google it. But Cherish, you have us. We're here to help. So I might be a little quiet. No, you're good. No, we're here. We're here to hang out with you and whatever you need, talk to us. We're all pretty chill. We just get overwhelming Joel with info. I'm like, I'm going like 10 miles an hour when I can really only go about 2. Hey Tina, how are you doing? All right, do we pull up? By the way, Vitor, I did not ignore you. I'm doing pretty good today. Appreciate you jumping in over on Twitch. As I was saying though earlier, I did some work yesterday. I had to upload some stuff. I had 5 videos for this other channel that I run that I haven't just been sitting on. I actually got one of them done, and I needed to get it the fuck out of my system because I need to work on the Mary Lou video that I have pulled footage for. That is going to take me probably 5 days to do after I did all of the mental planning on it. This one might be weird. There's an angle I'm going for. Hey, Cujo, how are you doing? How am I? No, don't be sorry. You have no. There is no sorries to be sorry for. Okay. Quote, Jeff. I'm good though. I'm kind of hanging in there. I needed a day yesterday to kind of like refocus. I need also next Friday. I have what is it? The Hobbit pre-release for Magic. So I'm kind of like trying to work around that. Because I have to do content around it on this other channel. So I'm like, Anyway, let's go over here. I think I'm going to start with the thing that I originally said we were going to start with today. I have pulled videos, by the way. I spent some time yesterday also looking for some interesting videos for us to watch. Two being about the Montana plan. One seemed a little bit better than the other. And then I also pulled the interview with Channel 5, Andrew Callahan, Hunter Biden, and Nick Fuentes. I thought that'd be kind of fun to kind of skim through. ML has a nice backyard. I bet she fucking does. I bet she does. You know what? Let's start with that because that can be mindless and I can ignore it for.
Hello, necessary conversation.
Oh shit! Let's. She cannot. She sounds chipmunkish. Let's not do that. We'll do.
I used to do these clips when we first started out, when we had like 5 whole people watching us.
She still sounds too
But
bad.
since someone is gallivanting, Chad said maybe I should do
it. Whoa! What's the editing on this? What the fuck was that? Who did they pay to edit this? She didn't do that. What the fuck is this? What the fuck was that? That was jarring. That was almost like I did it. What the fuck? Okay.
Quick little clip of the pond. So I wanted to show you our backyard.
I know that's Chad. Chad did it? Okay. Fucking. I know that's a picture of Chad, but I want to know who edited the goddamn thing.
Pond quick. So as you walk out the backyard, ooh, it's a little bright.
All right.
That is our koi pond.
That makes sense.
It is 3,500 gallons approximately.
Bet Chad edited the whole video on his phone while sitting on the toilet. I mean, he does use CapCut, which Bob did. You know what? If Bob did it, I'd be like, you know what? I like Bob so much more now. No, he uses CapCut, and I have a I dislike CapCut. Not great. I think that's a screenshot of Chad in France or Italy. Let me go back real quick. Hold on.
No necessary conversation. People, I used to do these clips when we first started out, when we had like 5 whole people watching us. But since someone is gallivanting.
Is that him in... Oh, look, he's got a little bow on in the back. Pretty. I didn't know he had the ability to do that. It wasn't Mary, was it? I don't think it was. If she did that, it'd been like, that is baller. Pretty bow, though.
Chad said maybe I should do a quick little clip of the pond. So I wanted to show you the backyard. Ooh, it's a little bright. That is our
FIFA and...
It is 3,500 gallons approximately. I have 27 koi.
Yeah, he's in...
And at the very end tonight,
Italy,
when it's a little darker, the fish will come up to feed. And I'll get the clip at the very end with the lights on and feed them and show you that. So that's the koi pond. And from the koi pond, we're walking on one side of the house, and
sounded very French or Italian cafe.
If you want,
yeah, to me it sounded Italian, but he could be in France. I don't know. I thought he was in Europe, just in general.
Monarchs to come, you have to have milkweed. I think I have 4 different species of it.
All right.
I love aloe vera plants. I don't know why.
Okay.
I have blue stem. This is Greg's Mist blue stem, and this will attract the butterfly that mimics the monarch called the queen. So if you want a queen butterfly to come, plant some of that. Right there's more. That is tropical milkweed. This is some old amaryllis bulbs that I brought out after Christmas. And then on this,
I also plant milkweed. And you get your get on your Discord. Yeah. By the way, if people are interested in joining the Discord, I have it linked in the new community post, so you can just go there, connect that way. I do want more people in there. It'd be great. I'd like to have more conversations. I also would like more, like news stories and things like that, because I do want to transition away from doing necessary conversation stuff all the time. And it'd be kind of nice to be a little bit more, I think, informative than what the podcast currently is, because I think there's a lot of stuff they don't cover that needs to be covered. Yes, $12,000 koi run a minimum of $150 each. I back about when I was an executive, I wanted to have a little koi pond in my backyard at our old place, and I did research, and I thought that it would be like, if I were to do it myself, and this is of course like a decade ago, it'd be like $6,000, and then the fish alone were about $100 a piece. I was like, I can't justify that. I can't justify it. But yeah, the rest is just grass. I mean, she's got a nice like planter, in the back. This is a very nice backyard. Very nice. I like it. I kind of want to do something like this in my backyard. We have this kind of backyard situation right now where I live in Texas and I live in the hill country, and everything is on rock out here. So you really can't plant anything unless you are planning to like drill or like break the rock to actually grow stuff. So it's like really tough out here to like put anything in the ground. So I kind of wanted these above ground like planters. This butterfly pollinator yard. It's fantastic, actually. I want to do that because I had a thought that I was like, oh, I kind of want to have a butterfly garden in the backyard. I researched it and I was like, I could do it. I just need to pull the trigger and spend the time doing it.
This side is the pollination garden. This is just a small, like a meditation little garden that I come out to when needed. I have my crosses. I have my...
It's very beautiful. I'll get those crosses off there, though. I bet she touches them, they burn her.
aloe vera, and then this shows you the long shot of all of the zinnias. Right now they look real dry. I just need to water them well.
Yeah, they need some water.
But this bed has really done well this summer, and it will attract a bunch of butterflies. My little dish of water is for the squirrel. And then I have a couple sunflowers growing up there where the wrens come in the morning and eat the seeds. This planter has dill in it. Dill will attract swallowtail butterflies. And then I have Max right there and Kitty right there.
She does have aloe vera on them. True. Just walk out to our garden. Nice. I need to do something. Our front yard is nice, but our backyard is like really bad. Yes, to treat the burns. You know, you need something there. Oh, focus. This is a tribute to your puppy. Focus.
Yep.
Oh, there we go.
Max and Dill. And swallowtails, I think I've got like maybe 10 larvae off of that, and then I take them into my aquarium and hatch them out. And this is what I call the bunny rabbit den. It's their little hut or house. Those are fake, but the bunnies come here at night. It says plant a garden, feed a bunny. And there's the
Couldn't read it.
little baby right there. Come get
It
you.
gives weird pet cemetery. Spell it right. Not how you spell cemetery, all right? Especially from that movie. What's with the sexy jazz music? Wait, is it me? Okay, hold on. I still have music running, but
Your carrots.
okay. I don't know what's up with the music in the video. I mean, wait till you see her altar. Oh God.
Then this is Nellie R. Stevens holly bushes. We have several of these in the yard. They're huge. It gives great shelter.
Yeah, actually, we have a few out here that we've planted, I think, in the front yard that do great with the rocky terrain out here. For me, it's more of being able to do more like gardening and things like that. I kind of have a little bit of a green thumb, not like super duper great at it, but if I put my mind to it and I stay on top of it, I can typically grow fruits and shit like that, veggies. So I need the motivation to do the actual above ground like planters and stuff like that. My chilies are turning. I need to actually grow basil's the other thing too. I'd make pesto like in time if I had it.
To a lot of different animals and butterflies. Back of the pond, I have 3 planters. They all are zinnias. Zinnias, great pollination plant. They're one of my favorites. They bring all kinds of butterflies. That is a moonflower. It only blooms at night. It's a tropical type of a flower. A lot of people call it a weed. I love it.
Green onion is the other thing that I need to grow a ton of. I use green onions on the reg. I make a lot of rice dishes just because I look, I'll be honest with you, it's cheap. I can actually get okay, that was weird. I use them a lot. I do a lot of rice dishes. I love rice and a protein. Typically my go-to. Just made a rabbit pot pie actually. Ooh. I know some people would be like, "Oh, you eat rabbit?" I love rabbit. I think rabbit is probably one of my favorite pieces of like meat that come from things that are not cow or just lamb or anything like that. It's also kind of gamey. I kind of like the taste of it. So I also kind of like gator, but I don't. It has to be cooked right. Gator is either like really good or just awful.
These are some more pretty zinnias. I have a small bench here, and back is Coreopsis. There's some 4 o'clocks. There's some Joe Pye weed in there. And of course, there is milkweed. And back that direction now, you can see how big those Nellie R. Stevens are.
Okay. Here's
Jesus.
Jaws. They're hungry. It's Banana, Big Dong, 2 Pumpkins, Skeletor.
3 Elements of Stupidity According to Philosophy is a great watch along video recommendations. Yeah, I kind of want to go down a rabbit hole of like, let's try and get as many interesting videos as we can, or kind of like showing. And I don't know. I'm kind of at this like point where the other day I was just like, I like the show. I like doing the watch alongs. But I need a break, and this is a good time to do this type of stuff. Look at them fish. They're really pretty, by the way. But man, did you say Big Dong? Wait, did she?
2 Pumpkins.
No,
They're
Big Dong.
hungry. It's Banana, Big Dong, 2 Pumpkins, Skeletor.
Oh fuck yeah, Skeletor's in there. Well cared. They're very well cared for. And
With pigs. Night,
What?
night, baby bunny. Night, night. See you in the morning. See you in the morning.
okay, and we're not watching Destiny. Sorry, not sorry. All right, everyone ready? It was you know what? It was pleasant. That was pleasant. Peaceful, yes. Peaceful. It's always the it's always the conservatives who have these like really beautiful backyards. They're older conservatives. Let me change that. Older conservatives who made their money. That video recommendation is a part of the Big Think Project. They have other vids in the series. Yeah, you're fine. All right, let's go.
Maggie, what in the hell are these?
That'd be your new underwear, Bob. Same brand I always buy.
Says here, made in China. The underwear I've been wearing for the last 25 years is made right here in the USA.
My bad. I know how patriotic you are about whatever touches your boy parts.
I think what makes this so weird is that to characterize Bob as a Archie Bunker type dad figure. Another one. Hey, this is Chad's pilot, okay? This is Chad's pilot. I'm pretty sure it's not what he wanted, and look. But this is bad. Like, this is bad. Real bad. Keep going. I'm looking at the Fauci thing, by the way.
Surprised you don't like outsourcing, Pop.
It's Chad.
Cheap labor helps the bottom line.
Yeah, well, the bottom line stops at my crotch. The Chinese got no business being there.
I wonder if he, Don Johnson actually sat down with Bob and was all like, I need to understand who you are as a character. What the fuck with all the fifth all day? Well, we were talking about it a little bit earlier. I believe, I personally think that he was doing it because they're trying to catch him in a lie. And the conservatives fucking do it all goddamn day. You know, anytime they're in front of anyone, they feign ignorance or plead the fifth. And I think it's only fair that when you're going to sit down in front of these people who are actively out to get you, do the same thing that they do. Give it back to them. Is that Doc Brown's Wild West girlfriend? Wait. Formerly Clara Clayton. I didn't like it. This is why I don't watch any of the congressional hearings anymore, is because they're the most unsatisfying thing, because you learn nothing. It's a bunch of people just obfuscating the truth, even if it's a conservative or a Democrat. It doesn't matter. That was the smartest thing for him to do. I think I agree. The reality is that there's no winning answering truthfully or just giving them an answer, because we have RFK Jr., we've got Trump, we've got all those guys who are wanting to just crucify Fauci. And Fauci's also just not is a non-entity at this point. So to go down this rabbit hole of questioning him for just anything sounds crazy. Yeah, okay. I think it's the mom from Step Brothers. It is. It's Mary Steenburgen. Yes, it is the mother from Step Brothers. I was telling Suzanne about it earlier, and I was like, it's weird seeing her in this because I love her. Hey, what's up, D Mooney? I think Fauci was advised to not say anything and only pleaded the fifth because they have made him testify numerous times already, which also makes sense. I personally, if I was him, I'd just be like, I'm not doing this. Sorry. Like, you're going to pull me. I'll show up. You don't hold me in contempt, but I'm not going to answer any questions. I'm done. I'm like completely done.
Hello, Rudy. Good morning, buddy. How's my favorite little guy?
Big day today. Haley's coming home.
Oh, we got to get her something.
Wow, they used their names. Crazy. Except for Chad's name. Chad is Ty in this and not Chad. His immunity, so they're trying to trip him up and get him to forget something he said back in a different testimony, so they get him to lie. Get him in a lie, yeah. Just like Hunter Biden being pardoned, it had to be done. Yeah, that... Look, I think the state of politics right now, it's all political theater. It's all political theater. And I'm so done. They kept Haley, they kept Mary Lou, Bob, and then changed Chad's name to Ty, which is weird. I'm confused. I'm confused. What the fuck is this This is Chad's pilot? It is. It is.
Something special.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get anything when I graduated.
That's because you didn't graduate from Harvard School of Business and get a great job up on Wall Street like your sister did.
Well, if I'd known there were going to be presents.
Did he do, Did escape out like yes? Is the government all corrupt? Yes. Do they all lie? Yes. Yeah. No, ML is different. It says Mary Lou Dobson is the name of her character, Mary Steenburgen's character. So the only person who has a different name is Chad.
No, you pissed away a baseball.
Maggie. Yeah, I'm looking down here and I'm wondering if that's just a nickname, not a show I would ever watch. That's why we're watching it right now. That's why we're gonna look at this and be like, what is this?
Scholarship to Kansas State so you could get a creative writing degree.
And by the way, if it's bad, like if it's going nowhere, I'm just gonna skip on to the Montana plan video that I have. I've got that pulled, and I'm looking at the AIDS thing with Fauci and RFK Jr.
I didn't want to play baseball.
You know, there's something a little about a boy that doesn't want to play baseball.
You make it seem like I just wasted the last 2 years since I graduated doing nothing.
Actually, you make it seem that way.
You know, I've published 4...
Bob just called her Maggie. I wonder if that's like a nickname. I don't know. She's labeled Mary Lou in the credits down here. I don't know why.
4 short stories in that time. If you ever actually read any of my work...
It ain't work if you don't get paid for it. Days of you sucking on my teeth are over.
Okay, I do...
I feel like Don Johnson actually hung out with Bob, because that does feel like a Bobism right there.
not suck on your teat.
You nibble a little.
Feast your eyes on that.
A golf course?
Well, that's not just a golf course. That's the perfect house on the most beautiful country club in the entire Dallas-Fort Worth area. Ugh. It's only had one owner since it was built, and thank the Lord, he's finally dead.
We prayed for him. To die, I mean.
Woo! Whoa! It's sad we never got to see the JVS of this universe. You know, they would paint me as some bad internet troll, right? Was that funny? I felt like that was mean. Like I feel like this is like I'm terrified. Let's put it this way: 2 big stars, and it didn't make it past the pilot. Yeah. Is Don Johnson a MAGA Republican? I don't think he might be a Republican. I don't think he's a MAGA one.
So we're moving?
Oh, you're not coming with us, sweetie.
No room.
Then what happens to me?
I love you, son, but you're a dump I've been trying to take for 2 years. This house is gone and you with it.
Yeah, it looks like he is not. Dad would probably make you a rowdy neighbor. Oh, Sophia Bush, wait, is in this too? Oh, she is. Oh my God, I just looked down. I was like, wait, what? But yeah, Don Johnson does not look like he aligns with the MAGA movement, but I believe he is conservative.
Ty, your father and I need you home tomorrow night. We're having dinner with Earl and Trudy Parnell.
Yeah, they want to meet the family.
Who are they?
Earl Parnell's chairman of the Westbrook Country Club.
He's got to approve us for membership before we can buy this house.
Isn't that one of the most exclusionary clubs in the country?
That's the whole point, Scooter. You want to come by and ask me for money, you got to get past the guards.
Hey, everybody, I'm home.
Hey,
Oh, she's here.
My little girl's back. Oh, my God, look. Hi.
Daddy.
How are you? My God, look at her.
Mom, you look so beautiful. How are you guys? Good.
Welcome to my world.
This is so fucking bad. Oh my God. Okay, then he's actually acting cool. Yeah, I'm doing some research real quick on Don Johnson, and it looks like he does not like Trump. But he also claims he smoked weed in the White House with George W. Bush. I can see why this scene picked up. It's rough. Yeah, he doesn't like Trump at all. Yeah.
Did you pick a font yet?
That's cute. How's overachieving working out for you?
So far, so good. You know, I read that story you sent me. It was pretty great.
Thanks. It got me accepted into the Canton Writers Workshop in Ohio.
That's awesome. When do you go?
As soon as Dad agrees to pay for it.
So, never.
Exactly.
Ooh.
Did you ask him?
He doesn't care about my writing. The only way Dad would...
This guy who's dad here is not good. What years is made? 2010. No. The comments glaze Chad. Really? This is not good. How do you not pick up a show with this legend? Oh my God. Ay, ay, ay. Could have gone somewhere. I guess people are saying that Mary Lou's name was changed to Maggie. That's so weird. Who's the actor playing Chad? It is a guy named Steve Talley. Steve Talley. He is a on the nose, like early 90s sitcom actor. He would be on like Step by Step, not Full House, Step by Step.
would read something of mine was if I wrote it under another name, like, I don't know, yours.
You better do it quick. I'm not sure my name's gonna be worth much for very long.
Go on.
I might have had a itty-bitty little bit of a breakdown.
That's awful. Go on.
Oh, God damn This is
No, God! No, God, please!
okay. 16 years ago, Chad would have written this as a 20-something, and the TV at the time was this appalling. Oh, it was. Trust me. I stopped watching sitcoms in the mid 2000s. You couldn't get me to. Is it the actor or the lines? I think it might be the actor. If I'm going to be honest with you. You used to watch Step by Step. I did too. Suzanne Summers, man. Friends was the last one for me. I think we watched a little bit of How I Met Your Mother, and then it was like I think season 2 or 3. I was just like, this is bad. It's interesting how they portray Haley as the favorite, and in real life, Haley is the black sheep. I actually think Haley is technically Bob's favorite. I also think she might have been the golden child for a while because, one, she kind of, she got married, she had kids, she did the mother thing, and I think to them that is success. When she transitioned over and started getting the bakery, maybe even when she started getting tattoos, because I don't know when she got her first tattoo. I've seen some of the wedding photos, and it felt like she was barely, just I don't want to say normal because I don't think having tattoos makes you abnormal. It doesn't. But she seemed very vanilla, I guess, is what I would say. And yeah. And she didn't move to California. That was the other thing. She was in Dallas. So they were like, Dallas is great. That's in Texas. Not in that you're not lived up completely. Chad was full on lived up. Full on lived up. 2010 is right off the heels of the writer's strike in Hollywood as well, so it's not surprising it's this contrived and juvenile. Went to Kansas State too. Yeah, Bob's school. Yeah, I think Bob really liked her, or still likes her quite a bit. I think of What's Eating Gilbert Grape when I see Mary Steenburgen. I think of Step Brothers. We saw Step Brothers in the theaters, and I then bought it and watched it a lot. That was like one of my favorite comedies ever. I think it still is my favorite comedy. It's kind of like anti-comedy in a weird way, but I enjoy it. I don't know. Oh.
I haven't told anybody yet.
Told anybody what?
Haley had a breakdown.
Ty!
It slipped out!
You never saw it? Just go in knowing that the story does not matter. Even though I do find the ending to be quite amazing. But yeah, just go in knowing it is basically improv on screen. But not like improv in the sense that you're going to an improv show. Like I actually legitimately hate improv. I think it is one of the like outside of like whose line is it anyway, it just always feels just kind of forced. I don't know. I know there's people out there being like, ew, you what? You don't like improv? No, I don't.
She did not have a breakdown. What happened, baby?
Mom, I've been busting my ass since AP Latin in the 3rd grade. Honor roll, valedictorian.
I hate it too, okay.
And finally, last week, I walked into my first office, everything I have worked for all these years, and I fell apart. I quit my job, I went on an ice cream binge for a week, and I'm gonna move home.
Okay, that's a breakdown.
I don't want that life, Mom. I am burnt out. All I want right now is to chill out, drink a couple beers, maybe have a little sex, and watch cartoons.
Oh my God, you're me!
Ty, that's a terrible thing to say.
A couple months ago, Waylon started emailing me, and
Waylon? Your high school boyfriend, the guy who runs a gas station?
And Mini Mart, don't judge.
You're back together with him?
Why?
Because I like him. He's sweet, he's not complicated.
He's really not complicated.
I'm not saying I want to marry the
Damn.
guy. He's perfect for me right now.
Oh boy, your father is going to freak.
How bad?
Obama getting elected bad.
Oh my God! Now you can't move.
What?
Mom and Dad were planning on kicking me out and moving to some uptight golf club, but they can't kick us both out, especially now that...
This is bad. Sorry, I was staring at a YouTube comment that I'm still baffled by. All right, so I'm looking at the okay, there's a book that came out that is called The Real Anthony Fauci, Bill Gates, Big Pharma, and the Global War on Democracy and Public Health, a book by Robert F. Kennedy Jr., in which he denounces Anthony Fauci and his leadership of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Disease. Jesus, okay. In the book, Kennedy promotes HIV/AIDS denialism and misinformation about Fauci's role during the HIV epidemic and COVID pandemic in the United States. The book was described as controversial by The Guardian and Publishers Weekly and a conspiracy theory extravaganza by Science-Based Medicine. Woo! Shit. Okay. And this is the guy. Yeah. This is the guy who is the fucking secretary of HH. Wow.
that you're
Yeah, I wouldn't watch this at all. I wouldn't either. There are people today who would eat this show up. I know they would. Seems like a lot of sitcoms are conservative dad versus liberal daughter. There was one with Tim Allen, right? That was big. And that guy's a scumlord. Tim Allen is gross. 34 in 2010. Yes. A year of production, a year of pitching, a year to edit, another year or so to draft. So maybe he would have been 28, 30 in the mid when he sat down to write. Yeah. No, I this is based on the book that he wrote, right? And then they kind of went from there. Because I know he wrote a book that was kind of surrounding the whole parent relationship he has.
stable.
I don't know. This show's rough.
Hi.
What? Too soon?
I'm sorry, you're moving?
Not anymore. You destroyed Dad's dream. He's gonna hate you. Whoa. I'm gonna be the new favorite Dobson child.
It's not all it's cracked up to be.
That's loser talk, Haley.
Anybody?
Okay. So Chad wrote The Average American Male, The Lie, Men, Women, and Children, which I think got turned into a movie. The Average American Marriage, Dark Light, Strange Animals, 10-minute podcast, How to Win the Bachelor and Dudesy. Your next life, just read the book test. I'm not doing that. It's basically all in the family formula-wise, but millennial as fuck for its intended audience. Yeah. Even though I'm millennial and I look at this, I'm like, I would never in my life think this is funny.
Home.
Don't.
I found the most perfect wine for the Parnells tomorrow night. Gin. Everybody all right?
We're good.
Fine.
I'm awesome.
God, the musical stings are the thing that hurt the most. I'm going to steal them and use them. I'm going to take the fucking musical stings. Oh, God. I'm going to edit it into every video for the podcast going forward. This is going to happen. Every transition. They'll never forget this. Never.
Haley is usually up before the sun. It's not like her to sleep this late.
Well, sometimes people change and do things you don't expect, and when they do, it's important to be supportive and flexible and willing to alter your own goals and plans for the future.
You all set for the Parnells tonight?
Yes. Oh, Bob, I did find some cute outfits for Rudy.
So
Come
same
here,
age
you
as
have
Chad?
to see this.
Really?
Isn't that darling?
I mean,
God, look at that.
I'm in that weird category. I'm considered an elder millennial. I was born in 84. I think what Gen X is 81 is the end of that. I'm like in that weird sort of like space where, I don't exactly identify with a lot of the millennials that kind of exist in the world today. But I also don't necessarily identify as with the Gen Xers. No way ML could say all that.
Oh, honey, that's a winner. You know, that looks like George W.'s mission accomplished flight suit.
That
I'm out. I can't work. All right. We'll fancy. We'll nuke it. I'm not even mentally checked in with this one. All right. I agree. This is bad. Maybe we'll pick it up later. maybe we'll figure something else out. Okay, let me grab the other videos I have because I really don't want to. It's bad. I'm like doing other things. Like I'm reading about Chad's other books, Men, Women, and Children, which the synopsis of the film sounds interesting. He's set in a small town in Texas. The film follows several teens and their parents as they struggle in today's technologically obsessed world. Their communication, self-images, and relationships are all affected by the technological age, compounding the usual social difficulties people already encounter. And then Don and Helen Truby are a sexually dissatisfied married couple. And then I rubbed a little bit further. The Truby's teenage son, Chris, a football player, is addicted to porn and has found himself only able to become aroused by material not deemed socially normal. What the fuck is this? Hoping to achieve arousal through traditional means, Chris tries to seduce classmates and cheerleader. Seduce classmate and cheerleader Hannah. However, as they start to initiate sex, he fails to become aroused. Hannah breaks up with him, subsequently telling everyone that they did in fact have sex. Okay. Chad really writing some bangers. I'm like reading this and I'm like, I don't know if he wrote it. Like, I don't know if he wrote the screenplay. This is a screenplay. I don't know if the book is exactly that. 1980. Okay. I think it depends on how old your parents were and where you are in your sibling stack. I'm the oldest as well. But my sister was born literally 13 months after me. She's Gen X too. My parents were 1947, 1951. My parents were 18 when they had me. So do some math here. That would be, I think, 66? No, 68. 66. Yeah, 66. Yeah. His next movie he's talking about is when a clone cat shows up and they start taking on other people in their home till everyone is. Oh, wait, what? Is that real? Like, it's a cat that is like just consuming people until everyone is gone? Whoa, I skipped ahead. I'm an 83 baby, solid Oregon Trail generation. Yeah, I was in that generation. I remember having to fight kids in like 3rd grade to get access to Oregon Trail. I think he wrote it, but tastes like major studio edits. I don't. Oh, it was distributed by Paramount Pictures, so yeah. I was like, I don't know. I thought it was an independent film. It's not. I mean, it's got Judy Greer in it, Jennifer Garner. I mean, and then Rosemary DeWitt. Dean Norris, really? Bad guy. And Adam Sandler. Oh, I forgot Adam Sandler was in this. Fuck me, Jesus. Okay. What he talked about in his live? Okay. Like I said, I haven't been in the lives in a while. The ending, by the way, the narrator message says, this at the very end. The message is that humans should remember to be kind to one another and cherish the earth. I want you to think about how what I said, and then that is the ending. Like I'm reading this and I'm just like, you skipped the last slide, yeah. That on him and Haley, I believe, the clone cat ends up cloning the other people, the people too. That's so weird. TRS 80s, man. I really wish we had. I mean, I had access to computers at a very young age. I was playing Wolfenstein at the age of like 8 or 9. So my dad was very, very technology obsessed, but in school we didn't get computers, like access really to computers on the regular until maybe I was in, oh god, I want to say 8th grade. Me, the Earth, yeah, we all need to be treated. We need to cherish. We need to cherish. All right. Let me see. Okay, I am gonna pull up my document, and I thought I did already. Okay. Let's see. We've got the first video. I think is the better of the two. I kind of watched the openings. Like I watched about like 3 minutes of each one, and I was like, oh, they're both pretty decent. But I think the first one is better. Okay. Pull up.
Montana is undoing Citizens United, and your state can too. In 2010, in Citizens United, the Supreme Court said the government can't regulate the right of corporations to spend independently in elections. This has led to an explosion in corporate and dark money in our politics.
Yep.
But regulating rights.
Okay. Schedule you in about an hour. Yeah, Kat, go take care of yourself. I don't know what just happened.
This has led to an explosion in corporate and dark money in our politics. But regulating rights is just one of the state's powers. States create corporations, they define them, and redefine them. And that's just what Montana is going to do with the Montana Plan. Over the past century, American corporations haven't changed very much. One thing that's been a constant is that corporations get every single one of their corporate powers from the state. Now, for the past century, every state has been issuing general corporate charters with the power to do anything legal under the law.
My dad brought home a computer in the 1980s. I remember there was a game where you could program visual polygon displays in C language and a Tandy helicopter. That's kind of awesome. I really wish I got into programming. My issue when I tried to teach myself how to program was that I had a hard time focusing on the code. It's my kind of like my similar issue I have with Japanese. When it comes to symbols and things like that, sometimes it's really hard for me to process everything. And I just kind of chalked it up to being like, look, programming is not my thing. I'm a visual person. Don't get me wrong. Just doing art for a very long time. But when it comes to programming, it does not compute. Unintended, I guess. But yeah, the whole Citizens United fight was a huge deal here. Hawaii did this. They stopped letting dark money into elections in the state. Right. I'm keen on this being like in every fucking state, because I think that's the biggest problem with elections right now, is that there's so many people who are basically flooding some of these candidates with money and doing essentially all of their PR, their media campaigns. And they basically, these politicians are indebted to these corporations or countries like Israel. Like look at like what's going on with Haley Stevens. She actively refuses to talk about how much money AIPAC and other donors are putting into her media campaign, which I think is to the tune of like $40 million. but she would rather throw it back at Abdul El Sayed and say like, "Hey, this guy has money coming from his father-in-law," and it's like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, what is going on here? Why are you basically throwing like trying to throw this guy under the bus who's not taking money from anyone other than just donors? And you are just taking in a shit ton of fucking money from APAC, from just many DTE, I think was the other one. It's like, it's bad. Corporate personhood was a bad policy. 100% agree. It went over 50 million 2 days ago. What? Yeah, it's $40 million, and most of the ads are attack ads against Abdul. Literally attack ads. And she had the gall to get on stage during that last debate. And by the way, I would love to sit down and show you guys some pieces of that debate. The person who was running the debate absolutely cooked Haley Stevens, like on fucking camera. Absolutely destroyed her. Like he carried that fucking debate. 100 years later, Supreme Court overrode the state, and it's been downhill since then. We went purple to deep red. Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing we have to tell ourselves. The conservative movement and the people who want the conservative policies to flourish are going to cheat. They're going to do everything they can to win. That's just what they are. They're going to gerrymander. They're going to pay money. They're going to bribe. They're going to steal. It's just what they're going to do. And I don't know how you fix it. Going over the Montana plan, hopping between yours and another life. Oh, you're fine, man. Yeah. We're taking a look at this. We're gonna dig through it, and I got 2 videos, so we're gonna watch both.
It wasn't always this way. It doesn't have to be this way. Early in American history, states gave their corporations a short list of powers. As states competed with each other, this list got longer. In cases
I wish they would cap campaign spending to something like $100K per state per candidate. Yeah, I think that would be good. I also think they should. I know some people be like, "This is, that's not how things should work." But I think they should limit anyone whose net worth is above a certain amount, and I capped it was like $1 million from being able to donate directly to campaigns or through a PAC. Just donations in general, because it does feel like they're more likely to be bribing and trying to push policy that way. But I don't know. I think you really have to just limit how much money can go to a campaign and essentially how much they can spend on advertising. I think the advertising piece is the other bad part, because if you have unlimited money, just like Haley Stevens appears to have, you can make someone look like an absolute fucking just piece of shit. You can show it on every news station that does political ads. You can do it everywhere, and that's what she's trying to do. I don't think it's working though. That last debate, really fucked up, I think, her campaign. My No King sign references the Copper Kings and the politicians purchased by super PACs and corporations. Send me that if you have that. I would like to put something up in my yard. Third-party PACs should be limited as well. I think they should not exist. I think ads per candidate should be capped to 2 ads, where you should be the candidate and 1 why the other candidate shouldn't be. I actually think that I think they should be running on policies. And you can make direct comparisons, I think, to the person being like, here's what they voted for. But I think going for the jugular, being like, like she keeps saying Abdul El Sayed is literally a misogynist. Like she keeps saying these things. And it's like, well, that's not true. It's not. That he is only working for essentially himself, which is kind of also weird, because she's never given like an actual true policy standpoint, like what she's going to do when she gets back into office. I don't see any substance from her. She is very fake too. Comes off just very weird, and also her accent feels forced.
like Citizens United, the Supreme Court has basically said, well, if a state is giving its corporations a general grant of power to do anything legal under the law, that must include the power to spend in politics. That's legal. And because these corporations are defined as things that have the power to spend in politics, they have a corresponding right to do so. But the court has never said that the state has to give its corporations the power to spend in politics, or to give them any power. And that's the Montana Plan. It's a simple amendment to the state constitution that says, hey, the people of Montana never meant to give corporations the power to spend in our politics, and today we stop doing so. You're not going to be this kind of corporation anymore. You're this kind. And this kind of corporation with no power to spend in politics has no right to spend in politics. It's not regulation. It's redefinition.
I also think clipping what another candidate said and reframing the context should be illegal. I think so too. Hey, what's up, Dar? How are you doing? I think that is also like that should be considered defamation, and that should be fucking like you should be able to sue the living shit out of them.
Definition. The Supreme Court has said for
and the other thing Haley Stevens claimed was that Abdul called her a goblin. Wait, what was it? It was an ogre. And he was actually referring to John Fetterman. I'm hearing don't need to start. You can start your stream now. All right.
For 200 years straight, that states have absolute authority to redefine their corporations. Montana can undo Citizens United, and your state can too. Mm-hmm. Contact the Transparent Election Initiative to find out how.
Oh, God. Kathy, what are you doing? This is, the sad thing is, because I pull so many clips from The Office, they serve that shit up all the time. Like, why do I want to know about Kathy? I don't care about Kathy. Why do I need to see Kathy's ass in the thumbnail? Like that AOC and Bernie ad that is out there saying socialists just want to raise taxes, then cut to AOC saying 70 to 80%. As if she wasn't talking about the top 1%, right? And the tax code of the 50s. You make me laugh, but I'll only admit that to others, never you. Thanks. Wait, what? Huh? Okay, I got one more video on this. This one was the one I was kind of like, it feels okay. If it's boring, we'll skip to the Andrew Callahan, Hunter Biden, Nick Fuentes thing, because I think
so let's dive into this.
I think that's crazy. By the way, the reason I'm iffy on this one, it sounds like AI, and I'm typically do not like giving AI videos more than they shouldn't even be watched. Like they should be nuked from space.
Really fascinating and maybe even game-changing legal strategy that takes aim at all the corporate money flowing into American politics. And believe it or not, this huge fight is starting in just one state, Montana. To really get what's happening today, you got to go back in time. See, Montana has this deep, baked-in history of fighting against corporate giants. 100 years ago, they were called the Copper Kings, these massive monopolies that basically tried to buy the whole state government. And the people of Montana fought back hard. That legacy, that memory, is the real backdrop for the battle today.
So this isn't some brand new issue that just popped up. Nope. This is just the latest chapter in a struggle that's been going on for over a century. The names of the companies might have changed, but the core conflict, it's exactly the same. Everyday citizens versus massive corporate influence. And since the Supreme Court's big Citizens United decision back in 2010, wow, it's like the floodgates opened. You've got elections to swamped with money from who knows where, local voices are completely drowned out by a tidal wave of attack ads, and you have this dark money where you can't even tell who's paying for it all. It really does make our elections feel less like a civic debate and more like...
Okay. I was like, wait, I think I know, like, when they said the Copper Kings thing, I know Holly mentioned it, and I was like, wait, that sounds familiar. And I was like, okay, yeah, it's the stuff at the turn of the century with like Rockefeller. I had to Google it because I was like, wait, let me just refresh what I was kind of realizing. Marcus Daly, Augustus Hines, which is I believe the ketchup guy. Yeah, you'll know it's AI if in the first few minutes you hear, and here's what when it gets weird or something. I think we did hear that. Yeah, if it is an X, it is Y. That's the way AI models work. Yeah,
An oct.
I'm more going off my ear. There tends to be a slightly weird monotoneness to the audio, and you'll hear fake breathing, which is the weird thing about it. You'll hear like you'll hear as they're talking, you'll hear the same, I think, sort of like sound, and it's like it's very, very, very weird. It sounds unnatural.
All of this has led to this widespread belief, this kind of myth, that we're basically stuck, that we're powerless to fix it, that the rules are set in stone, and that's just the way it is now. But is that really true? The story.
I think we just heard it. I think we just heard it. You never noticed that? It's weird. There's a couple of like far left leaning channels that have AI voices. I didn't notice it until recently. And it was one of those things where I sat there and I was just like, this sounds like weird. But they do this thing where there is an inflection, but it's not a true inflection. It's not like when I say, oh, hey, did you see that? It is, hey, did you see that? And it's weird. It doesn't go, it goes up, but it doesn't go up. It doesn't go to like the level you would think it would. It is, there is a phrasing I could use. I don't want to use it because I think it's not, I don't think it's kind, and I don't want to say it. But there is a cadence to it that is just off. It's just off. Yeah, now I'm going to see it everywhere. I mean,
story we're always told is.
I mean, I should know that this was AI because I think Notebook LM is some sort of AI software thing.
That there are only two ways out of this mess. The first is to hope the Supreme Court just changes its mind and reverses itself, which, almost never happens.
Yeah, it's Gemini. Fucking okay. Did you see that AI is destroying rare books for content? Explain. No, I didn't see that. Explain that. Yeah, this is Gemini. All right, we got our confirmation here. Gemini. It's an AI research tool and thinking partner. Man, I called it. I fucking called it. I heard it for just like 20 seconds. I was like, this is the only other video that seemed informative about Montana Plan. And then I listened and I was like, this might be AI. Throw a video in Discord. Okay, sweet. I'm sorry, Crivens. Stop looking at my shirt. I'm deeply offended. I actually own 3 of these. Okay, I'll talk about it. I, as an artist, here's the thing. As an artist, I drew stuff like this. Not anime, but this also is a thing that was like, I'm gonna say it, like I used to collect comic books in the early 2000s and late 90s, early 2000s, pretty hardcore, and I was collecting everything. And I actually got one of these quote unquote Bondage Fairies books in a lot that I bought. I looked at it. I love the art. The stories are just absolutely fucking grotesque in terms of like sexual content. I do not recommend it for anyone who is squeamish. But the art is really good, and that's typically what I lean on whenever I'm looking at some of the stuff, especially when it comes to arrow art. Typically like the artwork in it. I'm not necessarily interested in the content. Yeah, we talked about it a little bit earlier, Crivens, and I kind of understand why he did. I mean, it makes sense to me. You've been in front of Congress so many times, and then now you're trying to be dragged through the mud. Just do what the conservatives do, and just either A, plead ignorance, or plead the fifth. Yeah, I have 3 of these shirts. One is from one company, and then I got 2 from another one. God, it's Mob Shitty is the name of the shirt maker. COVID vaccine killed me, but I got better. All right, all right. All right. Let's a lot, it's the funniest thing. Whenever I hear people being like the COVID vaccine is dangerous, I'm like, but it saved so many lives. It literally helped out so many people. There's people out there with long COVID. Yes, I get it. I don't think you can give that and say like the vaccine is the reason for long COVID, because it's not. Long COVID is here because our government didn't do a good job of containing everything, and then people just continue to keep getting sick. There was no mandatory vaccination. I think there was like a period of time where people were kind of being like, you should really do it, but no one was forced into getting a vaccine. And then people just kept getting other people sick, being like, it's just a cold. Those are the people you should be really mad about, or the people being like, meh, just a cold. Like, get the fuck out of here. You're a jerk. All right. It's an actual video, not a link. So, oh, okay. Yeah, I have ways of
whenever I call.
I have ways of playing that stuff. I'm on a computer.
You said you want to ask me, why are you a Nazi?
Inclusion has been our greatest strength. Diversity has been our greatest strength.
White people do feel like we are being boxed out.
A 26-year-old white kid doesn't feel like he has access because he's been canceled, and the problem is black.
Go have fun. Oh God, or taking our dogs to groomers is terrible. But yeah, be safe, and see you in a bit. Haley was a golden child because she was an outstanding athlete. That was the big thing. For sure. Didn't even think about that either. I would think, in terms of Mary Lou's mind, like the reason she was a quote unquote like golden child is purely from the perspective that she did the mother thing, had kids, did all that stuff. And she's very much like Bob, yeah.
I didn't say the problem's black people.
Well, you just did, Nick. You just
said the problem is crime, and we know who's doing the crime in Chicago.
Oh my God. I watched the first part of this and I was just like,
Chicago.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Yes.
About the Holocaust things?
Oh, about that. We get to say whatever we want on the internet. We get to deny the Holocaust. As far as Jews.
I took 2 doses of the vaccine and got sick for a while, but was fine afterwards. No lung issues, just extreme pain and high fever. Every time I've taken the vaccine, I've taken it more than I think 5 times at this point. I have a day where I am absolutely just completely. I have like the worst migraine you could ever imagine. I don't know what it is, but it does something to me. It makes me extraordinarily fatigued and tired. Nick, please get the Kirk mic. Oh God. Damn, those who can't do teach. Those who can't teach Jim. Shout out to ML. Jeez. Hopefully Mary Steenburgen and Ted Danson were nice people. They seem like they would be. I took the J&J vaccine once. I took multiple. I've taken the Johnson & Johnson. I took Moderna. And I took the other one. I took, there's a third one. I have extreme asthma issues and COPD. Also, I have asthma as well. I did not experience any sort of like lung issues after taking the vaccine. Is Nick a big lobbyist? No, Nick is just a fucking douchey internet personality who has become famous for saying outrageous shit like the Jews essentially deserve the Holocaust and things like that. I'm officially vaccine injured. Good times because nobody will discuss it with me. What do you mean vaccine injured? Some people got vaccine injured, most did not. Which I did hear that some people were getting not necessarily hurt by the vaccine, but there were some side effects. It's one of those weird things where, like it's when it comes to doing something like this, especially rushing a vaccine out as fast as they did, I don't want to be insensitive and be like, that happened. Because I feel like that is a conservative mindset of being like, well, stuff happens. But, it is one of those things where there is a margin of error, I would say, in a lot of these things. Dad turned down a baseball scholarship. ML has said that she wished she made him take it because it was a Texas college. I don't remember which school. I remember her saying that. Yes, and Nick Fuentes is a horrible racist and misogynist. And allegedly was the lover of Destiny for a little bit. Allegedly. I'm saying allegedly. I'm putting that in the back there.
Are concerned in general, I think that everybody in the country should be treated with dignity and respect.
Have a headache. I've had a headache since 1/30/22. So I thought it was a stroke. They said it was vaccine injury and therefore they can't help me. Wild. I think by law, all punching bags should look like Nick Fuentes. If it, if I can commiserate with you, Dar, I actually have a low grade headache. Pretty much 24/7. I have had it well before COVID. It was actually causing a lot of problems in my day to day. I am, I'm able to function. My issues is that like the pain does kind of exist in this realm of always being there, and it sometimes makes it really kind of hard to like communicate and think because sometimes you just move to that place where like, man, my head's starting to hurt, and you just lose all track. And on top of that, having ADHD, it's a nightmare sometimes. I moved to a really pretty place because if I'm gonna die, figured I might as well see pretty things. The first question with constant headaches is 1, are you female? And 2, are you on birth control? I'm neither. I have chronic migraines, so I feel guys, yeah. My thing is like my low grade headaches go from being a headache to being migraine, and it happens quickly and abruptly sometimes, and sometimes I have to like just like cancel shit and be like I can't do things. My brother took the booster and his heart either stopped or had a fast heartbeat. Was in the hospital for a little bit. Perfectly fine now. Conservatives have no idea what the side effects are. Yeah. JBS is on his period. Thanks. No, not on birth control. Yeah.
Respect.
I've heard the birth control stuff can also kind of contribute to that stuff, but yeah.
Have their civil rights.
What do you think about somebody like Mamdani?
Personally, I don't like him. Like, for example, on 4th of July, when he takes the opportunity to sit there with, let's be honest, not a single white person.
What about fucking Donald Trump? There's no ideological core to Donald Trump.
No, I agree with you.
Here's the fucking weird thing about Nick Fuentes. Nick Fuentes has these weird moments where he says something so fucking just, I'm going to say, something as he would say, a libtard would say. He becomes very libtard coded and then goes back to saying racist stuff, and it's weird. I have never seen someone so fucking just so fucking just all over the place as a human being. It's weird. Hold on. Dr. Snake, take us seriously. Yeah, I have a friend who's actually one of mods for the Twitch channel, and she had to go to so many doctors before she actually got help. She was having chronic pain, and they finally were able to kind of like help with that.
Jr. got the largest loan ever given by the Department of Defense.
Vance owes his entire political career to Peter Thiel, whichever firm is the one to develop AS.
See, this is the shit that he says that is like, I'm like, you're anti-Peter Thiel, but you're also like in the conservative realm, like Peter Thiel is like your god.
That could confer dictatorial-like powers upon the CEO of that company.
Everything that we think about the way in which we exist in the world completely changes.
Increasingly with Uber, Airbnb, banking apps, you can't live your life without the tech platforms.
Endometriosis, right? Suzanne dealt with that. It was a long, like I think it was like a 5 or 6 year thing for her before someone said, "Oh yeah, this is what's going on."
Everything that AI is built on is ours. That's what they're stealing.
Wait, I had a reaction on dose 2. I felt like electric shocks in my brain, despite the vax theoretically not being able to cross the blood-brain barrier. Doctors gave up on me. I fought and was denied. Damn. When I find a doctor that finally starts helping me, they end up moving to another state. I actually have to find a new psychiatrist because the one that I was using that was actually kind of helped me is no longer with the place that I went to for help. And so I think she moved out of the state.
From us. I want to find common ground.
Most punchable face ever. Jesus fucking Christ. Which one? Nick Fuentes or Hunter Biden? I'm just kidding. I know Nick Fuentes is, I almost said, I know Hunter Biden. I know Nick Fuentes is one of the biggest edgelords. And here's the thing. I don't understand how anyone takes him fucking seriously, because it to me feels like an act. Like, it feels like a complete act. And if you know anything about him, like back, like I've known about him since he first became like a thing. He was just saying outrageous shit just to get a reaction from people, and then it picked up. The thing is, this guy is allegedly closeted, and I just think this is all a big fucking act. It's all a big fucking act. Wow, this whole thing's wild. This whole thing is wild. We're gonna watch parts of it. We're gonna kind of go. I watched pieces of it. I don't like listening to Nick Fuentes longer than like 15 minutes, but we're gonna try and watch a little bit of it. He is a media character like Jones. You know the story about Alex Jones. There is a DJ here, radio DJ in Austin. Name was Dale Dudley. He got kicked off of the radio station, I think 4 years ago. Like, I think right at the beginning of COVID. But he used to tell stories because he was friends with Alex Jones, and he says that Alex Jones' whole thing, his whole fucking persona is a joke. It was never meant to be taken seriously. And then the conservatives, being who they are, not being able to differentiate between satire and reality, took it seriously. And so he saw an end to making money, and he then took on the persona and then just ran with it. And Dale's kind of like, I think, opinion at the time was like, it just got out of hand, and now that is who he is. He has to be that. I watch Alex Jones like in certain clips, and I'm just like, yeah, it does feel fake. It does feel false. Bohemian Grove. What's Bohemian Grove? I watch it all. I will probably watch parts of it offline. I have to watch, like I said, I can't deal with Nick Fuentes. I am not the biggest fan of Hunter Biden in terms of the media fucking glazing him so much. So I've said it before. I don't think we should be even remotely looking at Hunter Biden as a presidential nominee of any sort. No, I don't want dynasties in my fucking government. I don't think Bush Senior and Junior should have happened. I certainly don't want a Trump child being in office. I don't want a fucking Biden child in office. I think Alex Jones being openly vocal against Trump now because he doesn't get assistance from the conservatives in power when the Onion bought and shut him down. I think the Onion essentially buying almost at the Majority Report, buying oh my god, I should know this because I used to fucking watch it all the time. Whatever. Buying him out, I think, was like the last, like, I think that was it. It was done. Like, I think he knew he was just fucking done. And to that I say LOL. I'm actually happy. God, what the fuck is gonna bother me? InfoWars. Fucking InfoWars. They bought InfoWars And I think that was just it. Like he was just like the game is over. I'm done. Yeah, I'm gonna try and keep the grift going a little bit longer, but yeah. I do like him changing minds. I do too. I just think I think it's like the people going like, ML is changing. Oh my god, I'm gonna cry. Yada yada. I think it's like that with him, where I'm like you can give him kudos. I don't give a shit. And I think some of the stuff he's doing is funny, but the absolute glazing and being like, yeah, he should run for president next is like, guys, we do not need any more fucking shit shows happening. Like we do not. No more of this. Like, let's put a fucking pardoned fucking individual into office who is well known for doing X, Y, and Z. There's nothing wrong with doing like using sex workers or being addicted to drugs. There's nothing wrong with that. But there is a problem I have when this is a child of another president. That is where my big issue is. And he was also pardoned by his father. It's not a good look optically. You're not going to pull people over from the right being like, yeah, fucking, I saw him on that thing. And you know what? My opinion is changed. It is not going to do anything. Onion buying InfoWars is two great tastes that taste great together. By the way, I've watched multiple InfoWars since Tim Heidecker took over and has been running it along with the Onion, and the level of parody and satire is like off the charts, and I actually really enjoy it. I enjoy it. So fun. But yeah, here's the thing. I by all means, let Hunter Biden do this thing where he is doing outreach and shit like that. I'm fine with it. I just don't need this because I don't need this as president. I just don't. Yeah, you know what? And Ginger, I 100% agree with you. I have a very communist mentality when it comes to government running. I think there should be no elites running any form of government. I think there should be someone who is in touch with the common man, who is a normal person to be running the government because they understand fundamentally how people actually live. The rich, they think they know what's best for everyone. That the idea behind socialism is using elites to maintain the status quo. I don't think that should be the case. Dude is a crack addict. What happens when you have the pressure of a presidency? You go back to something that comforts you. But I choose to believe that people have the ability to change and come out of that stuff. If they slip ups happen. We're human. That is just a natural thing. I also look at Hunter Biden and I know that there's probably a shit ton of pressure being the child of a senator, president, VP, and on top of that, like people look at you and go, "Oh, you just fucking you're just a fucking nepo baby." I can see that, like just eating away at people or eating away at someone. It would eat away at me. Like all parties can only spend a certain amount on campaigns. Yeah, we were talking about this earlier. I personally think that like there should be no money going in from like corporations. PAC, super PAC should not exist. PAC should not exist. None of that shit should exist. Donations should come from people who are making under. I said $1 million. I would even go down under a certain amount of money. I would say anyone, if you own a business, you should not be able to donate. That should not be the case. Attack ads should be equal across the board. Everyone should have the same amount of time when it comes to giving their platform. And if, I mean, that's pretty much it. I just would love money in general out of all campaigns, all money. What happened, Dar? Are you okay? Don't be upset. We're all here to be kind and loving with each other. I don't think anyone meant anything negative. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I meant to help. Deeply sorry if I offended. Yeah. Yeah. We're. I think everyone is just everyone's here with a positive outlook. Oh, no. You can bring it up. I'm totally fine talking about it. Don't take that as me chastising you. It's not, Kat. I was like, yeah, no, we talked about it. I was like, yeah, that's truly how I feel. Yeah, like I agree with you 100%. I fucking hate the fact that there's dark money going in and out of places.
Of how much of a shithead Donald Trump is. We can get there, okay?
The kind of first question that I had whenever I caught wind that you wanted to do an interview like this is, why now? What made you want to sit down for this kind of interview?
Well, I think it's an interesting conversation to have all of us here. And, I think it's a moment in our country when there's a lot of realignment. I think that people recognize, especially in the past couple of years, I'm like a non-conventional critic, maybe, of what's happening. And
Enjoy your granola crack. Jeez. I'm a good granola crack at it. That sounds actually pretty good. If you're in the Discord server, drop it in there. I might actually do something because we need snacks in our house, and I am not wanting to pay for right now. I've been making my own sourdough bread lately, and that's been kind of great.
so I think it'll be an interesting, productive conversation. I think it'll be different.
But I mean, specifically, because we kind of share a publicist, I heard that you wanted to...
Whoa, what? Okay, I'm going to be very honest with you. If I was Andrew, I'd be like, I need to get a different publicist. I freaking cannot. Oh, shit. Okay.
Okay.
Wait, hold on. What was that?
Because we kind of share a publicist. I heard that you wanted to
Andrew's publicist. Hold on. I am not Nick's publicist. Okay. Ooh, I would correct that out loud too. I would be like, no. Hold on a second. Let's not. No.
Okay. we have a publicist that you hit up, and you said that you wanted to talk to someone who would give you kind of a fair shot to like clear up some things and maybe some misconceptions about you and the things you believe.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think that, I'm somebody who I think like you, actually, maybe we have this in common, is kind of pigeonholed in a certain way for things that we've done in the past or things that we've said.
Yeah, I'm a crackhead.
You know what? Kudos, Hunter.
Yeah, exactly. I'm racist, right?
I got pigeonholed there. Mine is true. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, mine's a little true. Maybe a little, no. But yeah, so
I look, Cherish, Crivens. Yeah, no. There's no fucking, there's no way you can reinvent this guy. That's like saying, like, hey, Alex Jones has turned over a new leaf. You can believe that, but no one. I don't know. You know what? No, you can't believe that because it's not possible. Wasn't able to comment earlier when it was brought up, but Moderna has a class action lawsuit for making your body believe there's a tumor in your brain. Our media is so inbred these days. I think that is my issue with some of these things. Is that these are. And I like Andrew Callahan, and I actually think I'm going to sign up for his documentary service. I personally think Alex Jones said, yeah, I know. He's been saying a lot of stuff lately. He said that he actually said that I think even while he was at the Onion, like there's something wrong with him. Someone should invoke the 25th Amendment. But here's the thing. We're at this weird point where I think there's a lot of right-wing grifters who want to get out of the game of being right-wing grifters. And I think Nick Fuentes is one of these people who does not actually believe the shit that he says. Just like I don't think Alex Jones believes the shit that he says. I think that's why he's doing these things. Now, I'm going to say this. I like Andrew Callahan. I like Channel 5. Used to watch All Gas No Brakes. Now they got All Gas No Brakes again. But I'm really interested in his documentary service. I want to know if I would be I might reach out to them and see if they'll respond. But if I stream those documentaries so people can see it, would they be okay with that? I don't want to do it if they're not. I don't think they should be allowed to transition. You have no say in who can transition. I'm just kidding. No, I personally think they should be held accountable for their actions, especially with recent comments. It's a different thing if it's like happened like a decade ago. There's shit in my life. I was saying this to Suzanne the other day. I'm like, you could dig into my past, and I'm pretty sure you can find something absolutely terrible. I grew up in the 90s, the 2000s, 2010s. We did not get this whole sort of like the empathy button was just completely turned off. We were all just kind of like bumping into each other saying insane shit. And even when that stuff was happening, I always felt just so gross about it. But we just lived in a world where it was just blatantly okay to be racist, sexist, bigoted, misogynistic, and no one batted an eye. And it was just called humor. I'm pretty sure you could find shit, But like, look, Nick Fuentes has said shit up until the like yesterday, No transitioning for right wingers. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. You're trying to pivot. They can read the writing on the wall. Unfortunately, the internet will never forget. No, they won't. It's one of those things where I look at this stuff and I'm like, look, I understand if you were some sort of dumb fucking 19 or 20-year-old and you said something stupid, and now you're like, no, I don't abide by that. I don't agree with it. But Nick Fuentes has been consistently awful for a very fucking long time. Transgender grifters, jeez. Yeah, I've watched them drive this bus for 40 years. No, they don't get to jump off as it crashes. No. You don't have to answer this, but did Suzanne have a hard life because of politics or misogynistic values? I can tell a story. There was back when I was an executive, there was a party that the company I was working for held, and this is just kind of to prove a point. The stuff that I think I've noticed that she dealt with, but the owner of the company was at the party and walked over to me and was like, "Hi." I was like, "Hey, how are you doing? How you doing, sir?" Looked at my wife and said, "Your husband makes a lot of money, doesn't he?" And she's like, "Well, yeah, I mean, we've got a nice life." And he's like, "You don't work, don't you?" And I was just immediately like, "What the fuck?" It's that type of shit that seeing her have to like be put in a position of being like, "Oh, so you're just a mooch because you're a woman." It was like one of those moments where I was just like, "I can't be here. I can't do this anymore." And I turned to her and I apologized to her. I was just like, "That is just not something I ever have to fucking deal with." She was working. She is much smarter than I am, and it was just one of the most like offensive fucking things. Let's see. The only way I laugh about this whole 2016 to 2030 era is if it comes out that Trump was out to intentionally destroy the Republicans using stupidity of their own fringe, but that's unlikely. I'll be very honest with you. I would have believed that during the first term. I think he's so far fucking gone that whatever is happening right now is purely because of his own internal selfishness. And greed. The amount of money they're just stealing from people and the policies they're putting into place and the lies, the obfuscation of the truth. It is we're on this weird cusp of like, if you're not paying attention to it, it seems like, oh, they're just, it's just bad people. And it's like, no, it's not that. They're actually thieves. They're actually fucking doing this for their own personal gain. It's bad. It's like really fucking bad. And Trump is bad. I think his administration is bad. I think the people who are around him are bootlickers and they want this stuff to happen because they benefited from it too. I knew a guy who had that conspiracy theory in 2016. I did. I personally thought that Trump did not want to get elected. Like it was, it was a fluke that he got elected. And I think I thought at the time that he was surprised he got elected. it was like rumored that like Melania Trump was crying when they made the announcement, like not crying happy tears, but was like upset that he won the election. Yes. I am really honest with you. The whole the first term was just so batshit fucking weird. Like it was him floundering, and it didn't make sense. None of it made sense because it just felt like a dude who was not even remotely prepared to take office. His running for president was 100% a bid to stave off financial ruin. Mm-hmm. And when he didn't win the second time, I was like, okay, he's gone for good. He's gone for good. I negotiated the last refinancing of my mortgage to get a lower rate, shave 10 years off the life of the loan. And when the bank dude asked for occupations, he wrote down the spouse and then said, and you're just a housewife. Yeah, it's that shit that I was just like, yeah, that's the stuff that was just so fucking, like, I was like, I had a moment where it's just like, this is just not good. It's not good. Am I guaranteed 3 squares and a cot if I accidentally allegedly do something against your president? See, even I even put a cap on that because I'm respectful. But question still stands. I'm pretty sure someone would probably help you out. Yeah, the look on Melania's face at the inauguration, I said to my husband at the time, she knows this is a mistake. Yep. Dar, don't do that to yourself. You don't want to do that. Yeah, Melania did not sign up for politics. She thought she'd be a wealthy trad wife. I think I think their marriage was a marriage of convenience. This is why, like she doesn't currently live in the White House. She lives in New York. Apparently, there's rumors allegedly that she had a boyfriend and all that shit. And Epstein associate. Yeah, that's the stuff though. I still believe that there is so much stuff that has not leaked yet. And I'm shocked it hasn't leaked yet. There has to be some sort of like good Samaritan that has all this information that can just be like, here is the all 6 million of the Epstein files. Based on ABC, worth it. Yeah, I don't know. My stance is this: Trump needs to live until he's out of office, and then if the Democrats have control of everything and they're going to do the right thing, they should bring him up or in front of Congress and then answer for his crimes. Because he did a lot. All right, you're okay. Dar, don't apologize. Given the stakes, none of this shit really matters, and the Republicans sold out everything they ever pretended to believe to make it happen. Yeah, they did. They did. Yeah, a wealthy trad wife with the freedom to have a side piece without the scrutiny of public servants. Yeah. You never have to apologize. You can tell us you can tell all the Americans in this chat to go fuck themselves, and I'd be okay with it. You can tell me to go fuck myself. I'd be like, all right, I deserved it.
I think it'd be good to clear up some of the misrepresentations and put out something accurate.
So what do you think is the most misrepresented thing about you?
Well, I think really the whole image everybody has about me. When you mentioned me, I think on a recent show, you said you want.
Think dude definitely fetishizes trad wives. Yeah. I want to see Trump in jail. I want Trump to see his ill-gotten gains be seized. That's what I want. I want the entire line of that family to just feel the earth-shattering moment that they are no longer relevant. That is the thing I want more than anything in the world. Is my disdain for them knows no bounds. Yeah, I want Trump to see to live long enough to see the ruin he brought his family. In this, we both said the same thing.
want to ask me why.
I need Fred Trump to resurrect as a zombie and consume his entire family. Being like, I should have never brought you into the world.
Are you a Nazi?
Yeah.
And that's how everybody knows me. Everybody thinks of me as a white supremacist Nazi, and I don't think that's really true at all. I think that we definitely have different values. I mean, you're more from the left, I'm more from the right, but I don't think I'm a hater. I'm not a hateful person.
It is Heil Hitler Friday, Heil Hitler, all my niggas Nazis.
Morgan was
Hitler was very fucking cool.
Yes, I do.
One of them.
And I'm tired of pretending he's not.
So what's the thing about, I guess, traditional Nazism that you think?
Man, I really wish I could edit for this channel. I would have fucking a blast.
You disagree with the most?
Well, it's a non-Christian ideology. So, I mean, look, I believe that race is real, as the Nazis did, but I don't think it utterly defines a person. As a Christian, I think we're all created beings. I do believe there's such a thing as a universal human community. And so I think it's a cruel ideology. I've said this on my show, by the way, but I mean, that would maybe be the fundamental.
Did you always feel that way?
Always, yeah, absolutely.
So even whenever you were younger and stuff?
I did, but you know, you got to recognize times have changed. 10 years ago, we had a totally different political world. The regulation and policing of speech, you know, what you would call wokeness, I think was at an all-time.
He said he's hiring editors. I just don't know, Trail Snail. I would love to apply. I just don't know if my editing style would be. I don't know if they would be down with it because look, I would be very compelled to do weird shit. Can someone just off him in his insanity? It's not going to end though. That my thing is, Dar. You can cut the head off the Hydra. It's just going to sprout 3 more, mostly for docs, I think. Yeah, I would. You know, I would apply. I just yeah. Welcome back, Holiday. I wish I wasn't so fucking awkward, but I can confirm. I'm awkward too. I have great aim, but I would have to take the hunter safety course to do so. Yeah. If you wanted to be a shitty person and businessman, going into the government and destroying everything this country was built on and stands for without any thought to the global levers was a mistake. What hope does anyone have then? Well, you know, that's the question I ask myself every day. And the hope I have is this. There is a lot of interesting things happening, I think, in the world of politics that are positives right now. A lot of people want to focus on Trump, and it's my big thing about Trump is this. The less you talk about Trump and the less you focus on him, the less he matters. The people who are the problem are the people who are in his administration, Congress, and the people who are enabling the Mad King behavior that he has. I'm hoping with everything that's been going on with the DSA that this does pick up steam. I think that is no matter how you feel about any of the candidates, I think that is the next course of action. I honestly wish I could not be in the States. And I don't even like the States. At the court hearing for Trump's crimes, Trump would stomp his feet like a rabbit and whimper after being told each crime. Yeah, I saw that. He would stomp his feet though. He acted like that during the hearings over his fraud charges in New York. He was such a baby. Didn't he fall asleep too? He would fucking roll his eyes too. I'll bail before I become American. My apologies, but my mentality just isn't there. Yeah. Well, look, I think a lot of Americans feel that way though. We don't want you as a 51st state. We love you as a country. Yeah, we do. But he was a billionaire and he couldn't be bought. Remember? Yeah, I remember that. I remember hearing that from people on the right, and I knew that was bullshit. I'm annoyed by Trump, but yeah, the MAGA mentality is the actual problem, and it's too late to educate us out of this now. Yeah, there's a part of that is very, very true. Tell your orange man that he has no control over taking over another country unless he wants to try and invade. I'm pretty sure Canadians would absolutely wallop us. They just apologize us to death. Remember Occupy Wall Street? Remember the Tea Party? Remember PIC? Are good at breaking up liberal populism.
Time high when I got started as a very young man.
What would you call wokeness?
Yes. Well, and I think, I mean, would you not say there were some excesses maybe in those days?
Yeah. In those days, I wasn't doing too well, so I wasn't paying much attention. Anyway, I would love to hear, and I'm not asking you to like retract everything that you've ever said and all, or anything, but I said that I would love to talk to you because number one, I told you this, is that I think you're really smart. And I think that with that comes in
it'll be the end of him. We're nice, but not that nice. Here, okay, I'm gonna critique the conversation already just a little bit. I don't think you need to give Nick Fuentes a compliment. I just don't think you need to be like, oh yeah, you're very smart. I don't think you need to do that. I understand you're trying to butter him up to say something, but I think a direct approach to this would probably be better. The deep state, yeah, which is now Trump, Goldman Sachs, Heritage Foundation, AIPAC, Silicon Valley. Yeah, I was gonna stream tomorrow, but I'm thinking about not doing a stream tomorrow and actually finishing the script and then probably shooting some stuff for the AIPAC video that I have. I've been working on. I also need to work on the Mary Lou video that I have pulled footage for and I have mentally plotted out. That's going to take me probably like 5 days, I think, to really like hone in on it because I think there's some stuff in that video that is going to take me a bit of time to edit. Yeah, I agree. No need to appeal. Yeah, there's going to be some stuff in that new video for Mary Lou that, look, I'm in the category right now when it comes to the podcast. I'm talking necessary conversation, where I just don't subscribe to the idea that Mary Lou is changing. I just don't. I think the more I kind of like revisit things and look at old footage, and I just kind of recognize the fact that the reason Mary Lou is who she is right now is mainly because Trump won. She's content. Extraordinarily content. And that's why she does these things where she kind of gives a little, because she doesn't want to seem like she is too out of the realm of reality. I think she likes the idea that people are like, oh, look, she's changing. I think she likes the praise that she gets. I think she's only nice right now because her president won. And she can use that. Good, fuck your White House, not sorry. But here's the thing. Like, I just think that she is like, I'm above it all. I'm above it because my team won. Israel is deeply tied to the weapons industry. Yeah. Ukraine is now hitting a drone manufacturing leadership that makes them worth financially investing in. Yeah, I saw the Ukraine, Zelensky was getting in the mix on some stuff. It looked like there was like an in with Israel. And I saw it and I was just like, I don't like anything that's happening between Russia and Ukraine. I think, obviously I'm not the biggest fan of Russia. But here's the thing. If Zelensky is willing to get in bed with Israel, I'm just like, I'm over it. Exactly. If any of this was going on with a Democrat as president, she'd have a meltdown like she did with Biden. Yeah, that's why I showed the video, the clip at the end of that. That's why I put that clip at the very end, because that's who she really is. Anyone who voted for Trump wanted people to suffer, whether they admit it or not. Yes. Put another MMA, whatever the fuck. oh, put up another MMA match or whatever the fuck and create a fucking ballroom. You just stop. You're the laughing stock of the freaking world. Is that but true? He knows that. He knows that. But here's the thing. He doesn't care. He knows he's a corny motherfucker. Trump knows that everything about him is corny as shit. And that's the thing. Fascism is corporatism. Yeah. Mussolini did say that. Fucking, it is though. The White House building is actually based off an old European building that are white from age. The White House is based off an old aged building. Jesus, I did not know that. That's interesting. At least he knows he's not getting into heaven. And I agree. Corporations aren't people. They shouldn't be considered people. Shouldn't get the same fucking rights as people.
A real responsibility. And you have an audience. And I have a friend whose son is my daughter's age, maybe 28, your age. And he's really smart. And he is a big fan of yours. And so by virtue of the relationship, I got to learn what it is why he is a fan of yours. And none of it has to do with, I would hope you agree, like really egregious things that you've said in the past about the Holocaust or about,
Did the Jews ever talk?
Did he say his kid? We're all suffering. We're all suffering. Yeah. That's I would if it was my kid, I'd be like, we have to have a conversation. That other dude, Andrew Callahan. Did he say that? Did I misread that? Or mishear that? Yeah, the European buildings that are white and old now used to be colorful, at least had more color. Yeah, that old Republican thought about, hey, by the way, Black Barbie, how are you doing? The old Republican thought about wanting to run this country like a business. I always ask, do you think corporations are democracies? Exactly. Like he said, my son, who's around my daughter's age, close to your age, Jesus, that is... There is a question you have to start asking your child, like, everything okay? Like, do we have to have a conversation? Do you believe these things that he is saying? Are you watching this as a joke? Do you need help? Does Nick Fuentes talk about Kanye bringing him to dinner with Trump, though? I don't know. I haven't watched the full thing.
Talk about the 100 million whites that died in World War II? Or do they just bitch and moan about the so-called 6 million Jews that died?
And so it's just nice to poke holes in it and say, it's not 6 million.
6 million? I don't think so.
And I don't even know, I think I've heard you since kind of rescind a lot of that.
You concede that 6 million Jews died in the Holocaust?
Possibly more. Possibly, we're discovering all the time. So it could be, maybe even be more than that.
Hey, this is why I think he's a full-on bullshit artist. Because he does this shit.
But what he agrees with is kind of the anger about the situation that particularly your generation finds yourself in. I know that to be real. And I think that there, maybe my reasons.
I'm good. Hey, good to see you too. I'm going to say this again. Hunter Biden does not need to be president. We do not. The things he's saying sound really salient and fine. Do not get tricked into thinking this is presidential talk, because I can already, the back of my brain went like this. This sounds like someone who is trying to come off so fucking like understanding and, diplomatic. Oof. I don't like this. I don't like it. I feel weird. I feel weird about this whole thing. The country should be run like a nonprofit organization, which is a business, but not a business that Trump knows anything about except for how to abuse a 501c3 for personal profit. Yeah. Well, I think it should be even simpler than that. The goal of the government should be to make everyone's life who is a citizen, and even non-citizens, in my personal opinion, make their lives better and to assist any way they can to make sure everyone is got a house, got food on the table, and is able to live. That's my stance on that. None of this. Let me work my magic for corporations. Do we need another Bush or Kennedy? I said it earlier. No more dynasties. No more. I don't think Hunter has any political aspirations. There are people on the reg being like, he is so cool. He's better than Newsom. I'm like, okay. I'm like, no. There's a lot of people calling for him to run. They think he is a voice of reason, and I'm like, no. I think even I don't want to say this person said this, but I think Keith Edwards said something like that, and I was just like, ooh. That's the difference in between Canadians versus Trump. I'm not going to say Americans when you have wildfires. He wants to charge you for the air quality. You want to send help, and you want to send help. Yeah, I'm still proving my friend of mine by saying we should have should run the government like a business. He hates hearing it now. Yeah, you shouldn't live that down at all.
For recognizing that anger is being legitimate, and my targets are different than yours. I just wanted to hear from you. When you say you were canceled by the right in 2016.
Yes.
I almost felt like in preparing to meet you now, is that your reaction to that was to just dig deeper and deeper into.
I was against Hillary because I was against Trump, Bush Jr., no more dynasties. I was against Hillary because I thought Hillary, and I don't want to be mean about it, but I did not get a sense that, not saying she was not all there, but I didn't get a sense that she was in it for the right reason. And every kind of answer felt rehearsed and stilted. There's no, I didn't feel like emotions behind anything. And the way she would smile too was also kind of just like, And I was also very angry about what the DNC did to Bernie Sanders, that it made it really, really, really hard to vote for her. And I did vote for her. Appreciate that. And my friends are having a hard time. We don't matter, but we sincerely feel bad about it. And we just want everyone to be safe. Sorry that I seem cranky. No, look, by the way, don't apologize for being cranky. I think we're all kind of cranky. Hillary is a political beast. She knows how to play the game, by the way. She knows how to play the game. I just personally wanted something different, and I did not need fucking Hillary Clinton in office. I just did not. I didn't see it as something that was going to be a good thing. I just felt like it was going to be more of the status quo. Yeah, for the right reasons. I think that's what it is. It didn't feel like she was there for the right reason. It just felt like, oh, it's my turn, and it's like, this is not a slide, okay? You don't get a turn on the slide because of who you are. I voted for Hillary. I wasn't a fan about it. Not a fan of deeply entrenched political fundraisers. Me, I voted for her because it was either her or Trump, and I was like, well, I'm gonna vote for the lesser of fucking two evils. We're sincerely doing our best at this point, and a lot of Canadians are not commenting these days because we don't know how to apologize appropriately. That's the truth. I think the thing is, if you're talking about the wildfires, look, if the United States is upset about wildfires, they should also look internally at themselves, because we have wildfires that get out of control all the time. It happens frequently, and we should be, as a nation, and especially as neighbors, be able to help each other out, and like no, there should be no malice there. Yeah, I'm talking about wildfire. Yeah, that's the thing. It's when Trump says stuff like that, it's the pot calling the kettle black, and I cannot and will not listen to him and take him seriously when he does shit like that, and no one should. And I think Canada should be like, oh, the next time we have a wildfire, don't ask us for help. We're just gonna go ahead and just fucking basically give you guys fucking tariffs in return. So eat shit. We'll just jack up all of our fucking prices. So if you try to import, it's going to cost you an arm and a fucking leg. I voted for Bernie in the primary. I did too, but then voted for Hillary because fuck Trump. Yeah, I voted for Bernie. I was very much in the category that Bernie is the person who is talking the most sense out of all the candidates. We want all of you to be safe. Also, most of us don't think the way of the orange man. We don't want to take over any other country, and we support any boycott you're doing. Yeah. There should be not be any malice, but we're feeling a lot of it, and honestly, enough. Please just help or don't comment. I beg all of you. I get you. I don't either. Parrish, I don't.
Kind of the outsider, kind of radical, say anything for the purpose of generating, the attention to build an audience. Is that true? And it's not an accusation. I really mean it. I want this to be a conversation as much as possible.
I mean, there's certainly some truth to that, but I think that might be overstating it a little bit because I really got canceled by the right and the left.
Yeah.
And back in those days in 2017, you had these far left journalists at Huffington Post, Right Wing Watch, ADL, SPLC, and I really believe they were on a mission to find extremist rhetoric, the white nationalist, neo-Nazi boogeyman, all that kind of stuff. And they would look at someone like myself, 18, and if I was being serious or joking, things taken out of context, they would clip it, post it, and they wanted me to be the villain. And I think they wanted a lot of people to be the villain. And I think the left, in a way, kind of created this climate where I think they pushed a lot of people farther to the right.
No, by the way, that very well may be true, but you gave them a lot of ammunition.
That's true.
I mean, I hope that some of those things that you said in the past are not things that you believed in and that are you meant just to engender like a really radical kind of response. I mean, is that true or not?
Well, again, I think that back in those days, you could not say anything. In 2017, 2018, cancel culture was so in overdrive. Any joke, any edgelording, anything like that, they would, first of all, there's no sense of humor.
I'm so old. I don't even, what's
okay, well, to break it down for you.
Oh God, they're explaining edgelording to Hunter Biden. Hunter Biden should know what this means. Yeah, Nick is stuck in edgy middle school boy body. Well, I think even mentally, okay. Here's my take on Nick Fuentes. I think he knows what he's doing. I think this act has been perfected over the last, I would say, 10 years. And he knows he gets attention from it. He knows he gets, he basically, he gets a lot out of this. He doesn't care what people think about him. I think he's sociopathic. And I think he is manipulative. But I think it's all an act. Fuentes wanting to be the victim, Hunter calling him on his shit. I mean, it's the truth though. And he admits it. He's like, yeah, I did give him a lot of ammunition. Like, yeah, you didn't stop it. You knew what you were doing. You're not becoming famous, you're becoming infamous. That's what he wanted.
Dawn of wokeness, as it's known today, I think was in like the post-Trump era. After Trump won the election in 2016, there was a big movement to deplatform and kind of push away those who, I guess the left feel like had galvanized them into the presidency. So there was this big idea that if you push people off mainstream social media platforms, they would go away. Now we know through Trump's re-election, that's not even true. But at the time, that was the mantra. Problematic viewpoints needed to be silenced, tucked away somewhere.
Cancel culture was so bad, you can't say the Holocaust didn't happen. I know. Even though recently he has backtracked on that. Just to not trying to give him credit, but he has backtracked. Their legs are too long for those chairs.
And they would just sort of die in isolation. So I think that was the climate where you first got started, 2017. That time period was like crucial for getting people off mainstream platforms. Is that correct?
Yeah, and I would say that you got to get into the psychology of those days. It felt like anybody that was...
Yeah, taking bad publicity is still publicity to its breaking point. Yeah. Yeah, Fuentes makes a lot of money on his lives with these super chats. He does. I mean, I've never been in one of them, but I've seen the donation numbers, and it's like
wasn't on.
There's a lot of people out there who like what he's doing. I do get concerned for teenagers and young adult, young males. I think this is mostly teenage boys and males in their 20s. Wait, why is this set in a bedroom? They're actually in a hotel room. So I think this is the only place they could meet up. And Andrew Callahan has a tendency to do this kind of like kind of ramshackled sometimes. Ed, when a piece of shit makes money. Yeah. No, don't be sorry for your opinion. I think it's sad that he's got a platform. It's dark money that can't be traced. I mean, are you saying like donos from randos is kind of it? It's basically like money laundering. I think him and his audience is actually growing up though. That's why he actually hears some actual real thoughts out of him once in a while. But of course, he still needs to keep those numbers running anonymously. Yeah, okay. So you're saying basically they're doing some sort of money laundering through his chat. Yeah.
On board with the most progressive agenda had no option.
I feel like I need to have a splash guard to sit in front of Mr. Brownshirt's acne. I'm all for authenticity, but dear God, a little concealer wouldn't go amiss. He's notorious with basically just being natural on camera. He even got Cavicular even was all like trying to convince him that he needs to like work on his acne and shit like that, and he was like, I don't care about it. Which kudos to him. Kudos to him. I would be very self-conscious personally, but Fuentes called for Tate Brothers to be released. Yeah. Andrew, he won't looks max. That's right. Can I pet that dog? I have it. No, I don't have it still up.
Options. There was just no alternative. It was going to be progressive, liberal, feminist, BLM, all that kind of stuff. And if you were to the right of John McCain, you're no platformed, censored, banned.
The Tate Brothers, I'll be honest with you, if they get released, that's just another thing that just kind of shows you that you can buy yourself out of a charge. What that dog doing? Can I pet that dog?
And from all the platforms, you're fired from your job, you're ostracized socially. And I think what happened really in 2021 when Trump.
By the way, have you guys seen the footage that got him arrested? It's wild. Did they ship him off yet? I don't think so. Apparently there's people outside, or there's like 1 or 2 protesters who have been sitting out there every day with signs being like free the Tate Brothers. And apparently they've got footage of them through just a little slit in the wall. Basically, I guess the protesters can kind of see Andrew Tate, and he's just dancing. It's weird. Bizarre shit. Oh, no, I have the clip. I can pull it up anytime. I told you it was great. Now I know how much I mean. 0. Shush. Hush. I normally don't call things like that out, but the camera dude practically zoomed in on it. Good for him and his confidence, though, I guess. Yeah, I look at him and I'm like, look, it's Andrew Callahan. Joel don't have time to research. He learned Daggerheart rules. No. I'm actually having to research. If you've been in the Discord server, you've probably seen the Daggerheart subreddit or section, and I'm transitioning over to a necromancer class right now. So, yeah, Tate Brothers are still in the USA. Makes sense. They were caught with CSAM red-handed, so Trump is inclined to help them out somehow. Yeah, there's rumors going around or things that are happening, or people on the left, the news people, the left-leaning talking heads are like, yeah, Andrew Tate and them are like trying to blackmail. And I'm like, are they? I think they're just like, hey, figure it out. Like, get me out of here. You know what to do. I don't think they're trying to blackmail anyone. I think they're just actively like, help a brother out, essentially. Needs to pick me up. Let's play it. Okay.
Trump got banned from the platforms is it felt like 70 million people got canceled. 70 million people that voted for Trump, or 60, 70 million people, we were all felt like, oh, so if Trump is out of politics and we're all banned from the platforms, then how is there any redress for our grievances? Do we just have to shut up and get with the program and we're all going to be progressive? And I think that drove people to a far more radical place where people said, well, what really is a solution? We can't talk, we can't express ourselves, we can't participate in the process or run for office. And I was one of the people saying that's exactly what's going to happen. It's going to drive people to extremism. If you don't talk, if people don't feel like they have a seat at the table in enfranchisement, I think then they start exploring options outside the system, outside of the political process, the democratic process. So I think it's self-inflicted in many ways.
So you feel like after the mass deplatforming in 2021, whenever people on the right got pushed to platforms like Parler, Gab, Rumble, etc., the lack of discourse and like the political.
All right. Never seen this man so close up. Andrew? Or I'm sorry, I was on a different screen. I was like,
No. Can I pet that dog? 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 No.
Only openly admits he's an extremist. Yeah, he does, because that's who he is. Oh my god, that's adorable. It is pretty cute. Look, the people who just tried to call slavery some kind of altruistic job skills internship elected a member of the Epstein rat pack. Yeah. Why is Hunter's seat? They're all their seats are slanted. They're actually in an angle. Like I think. Okay, here's the deal. This is like a faux rocking chair. It looks like you can lean back in it. Like it's got like a like when you go to the theaters, you can like kind of move the seat back a little bit. I think it's like that. I think all their chairs though are at a slant. So they need to be on a social platform to engage in politics. Is that what they're saying?
Singularity of those platforms created more extremism.
Absolutely, because look,
I don't think they're trying to say exactly that. I think. Let's just go back.
System outside of the political process, the democratic process. So I think it's self-inflicted in many ways.
So you feel like after the mass deplatforming in 2021, whenever people on the right got pushed to platforms like Parler, Gab, Rumble, etc., the lack of discourse and like the political singularity of those platforms created more extremism?
Absolutely.
I actually agree with that statement. I think that those echo chambers, those platforms created more and more and more misinformation and more people trying to isolate themselves away from the mainstream media because they were told the mainstream media is lying to you. And so Parler, True Social, all of these places, and there's even left-leaning sites that have the same problem, all cultivated this weird sort of conspiracy-laden communities. And they're, yeah, I mean, totally makes sense. Yeah, it makes sense, yeah. I need to soundboard that. Yes, I will. I'll pull it. Let me add it to my note list. The notes list has been a massive game changer for the stream. I've actually done research because of it. Hunter's seat is tilted like that because of his huge hog. Have you not seen the Marjorie Taylor Greene pics? I'm amazed that dude doesn't have more lower back problems. Damn. I think we've all seen the pictures. I could have lived my life without seeing them, but we've all seen them, I think. We can't do all these things, so the excuses are extremism, but can't extend that logic to how the Republicans are silencing Democrats now. And when they respond with extreme actions, we're terrorists. I wish Chad would look at his notes. I wish Chad would research more before coming to the podcast. I think you could have some interesting conversations with Mary Lou if you just stop doing the topical news stories and actually focus on things that matter to her. It's okay when we do it. Republican motto. Yeah, always is. Chad writes notes and then blows his nose with them. Writes them on a tissue paper.
Absolutely, because look, you take Trump off of Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and I predicted this in 21. I said, watch, you're going to see alternative social media rise because some venture capitalist is going to see there's a huge market of 70 million people that are going to follow.
I've not seen them good. That
follow Trump because Trump is no platformed. And that's exactly what happened. Rumble blew up, Elon bought Twitter. And what happened when you had total free speech on these platforms? Well, Twitter now resembles 4chan. And now, there's no gatekeepers. And I think it did push people in a radical direction. And honestly, people are even blowing past me. Now there's like mainstream normie types that are even blowing past me in terms of how radical they are. People start saying things like, there's no political solution, there's going to be a civil war, we need a revolution. And I think that's because the message
okay, I'm going to say this. That talking point is mainly coming from bots. That whole idea or concept of a civil war is coming from. I think. Look, I subscribe to the dead internet theory at this point, but there is a segment of there's people out there who want to stir discourse, and I think a lot of those people, Normie Gag, I know he shouldn't use that name that phrase. I think a lot of that stuff is just so discontent and I think to divide us even more. And I think it's not coming from people. I think it's mainly coming from bots. And I pet your dog to your simmer down because I swear it is perfect. It's pretty good. Oh, 100%. And a lot of the normies still watch. Yeah. This is Crazy Eyes Fuentes.
Message from the left was, you're crushed. You have no options. You can't win. There's no alternative. Trump is going to be indicted and charged and can't run. You can't be on Twitter. You can't have a job. And so people...
I was like, what? I was like, what do you mean by that?
People started to say, okay, well, we still exist. We're still here.
Does that say yes now? Blame pre-rolls for that typo? Am I running pre-rolls? I don't think I'm running pre-rolls.
Still have these concerns?
Or you're blaming your actual fucking joints. What's Nick waffling about? He's trying to, I think, appeal to Hunter Biden by saying, I'm not extreme anymore. There's actually normies who are more extreme. I'm like, okay, bitch. Yeah, my fault. No, you're good. Nothing's your fault. Don't worry about that. They asked him to research his topics more, and he said he didn't have time and that wasn't what the show was about. Yes, it is. You're trying to change your mother's fucking mind. You're trying to get your mother away from the cult. Look, cult specialist would be the first fucking person I would bring onto the show. If I was a producer, I'd be like, I found someone who deals with political cults, and I would like to have them sit down with Mary Lou. I think it'd be a great one-on-one. You guys can film it however you want, but we need to have someone who is there to show her how she's being manipulated. But yeah, whatever. Yeah, I accept the responsibility for my foibles. You're fine. I do too. I accept the responsibility for them as well. Nothing Nick Fuentes says matters. He has discredited himself so thoroughly. Yeah, this is just political theater at this point. This is an interview between two people who, in the history of the world, will be minor footnotes, and Nick Fuentes might not even be a footnote, but he made the normies radical. Yeah. Nick versus Ben Shapiro in a yap battle. Who would yap the longest and the fastest? I actually think Nick Fuentes could out yap Ben Shapiro for some reason.
What do we do now? And then people start to say, well, we need a revolution. And I'm one of the only people saying, no, we should still engage in the process and talk with each other. And it's not all one-sided. I think there's problems on the left and the right, but I certainly think it takes two to tango.
Okay, so we agree. I think that there are problems on the left and the right, and I don't disagree with some of the things that you just said. I guess I just came to a different conclusion, that there are some things that people should be deplatformed for. Not that they can't say it where they want to say it, but I think that it's a right of anybody.
Okay, top three things. What do you think?
Political theater as a good phrase. Yeah. Look, I view a lot of things as political theater at this point. There's very few people who are, I think, just laying it out there. A lot of this stuff is just built to pass the time. It is a way to get you engaged and to stay engaged in the machine of YouTube. I mean, you're here with me, and you can call this political theater. I say we tie their wrists together and make them fight with cleavers. Isn't that fucking, oh my god, Martin Scorsese? Yeah.
There's a difference between being able to say that you're proud of your white heritage and also being just flat out racist. I think that there's a difference between saying you're proud of your Christian.
I could see that. That would actually be pretty interesting because they're on the same I think they're on the same like body weight and height. But if you spread your legs that much, you're just trying to take up space to compensate for your lack of intellectual thought. Damn.
Heritage and the white culture from what you come from, and not
kind of the same people. The only difference between, and I'm not trying to stand up for Ben Shapiro. Ben Shapiro has a little bit more tact than Nick Fuentes does. The other thing too is Nick Fuentes absolutely fucking hates Israel, and Ben Shapiro fucking loves Israel. What the hell is white heritage? Fucking I don't know, oatmeal at this point. I don't even know. Like I look back and I'm like, we stole everything from everyone else. Oh, that looks delicious. Let me just take it. Knife edge death match. Yu Yu Hakusho reference. If you know, you know. I have not watched Yu Yu Hakusho since 2002. I wanted to go back and rewatch them because I loved the first 2 or 3 seasons of that show. Strictly European heritage sausages. There we go.
Or that you adopt the Nazism as a legitimate ideology. I think that there's a difference between saying that you disagree with the United States policy as it relates to Israel and saying that the Holocaust didn't exist.
That was like Mom, Dad, Hitler was
It's a banger always, yep.
awesome. Hitler was right. And the Holocaust didn't happen. And my parents were like, we cannot believe.
Those would be top 3 things in my mind. I know that you believe that some people took you out of context, and I do agree. Look, on both the right and the left, there are these gatekeepers, 100%. And look at me, the mainstream press just destroyed me for 7 years without any.
Look, I understand you're trying to appeal to them, but don't do this. There's a difference between being like, I'm a damaged individual and I take responsibility for my shit, and someone being like, yeah, I say insane shit and who cares? Like you did your time with this whole situation, Hunter. You do not need to make a direct appeal to Nick Fuentes. Nick Fuentes does not fucking care.
Any real kind of reflection about
what anyone would think that way. I agree.
I do think that, some of those things are legitimate reasons to say, we don't want you on our, on our commercial platform. Would you agree with that? I mean, you just said, for instance, people calling for like an armed revolution, like people calling for actual violence. You're opposed to.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm against violence. Yeah. And I do think those are one of the legitimate things that should be taken from the platform. There's a lot of the stuff on social media I don't agree with. But again, what started to happen is there was this like.
Very impressed that he understands the point Fuentes is making and now tearing it down. Yeah.
Editorial censorship where certain ideas were banned. And it was such a broad brush and also totally opaque and ad hoc. You'd be on.
Interesting. I'm telling you this, Dar, my brother looks nothing like me. Nothing.
YouTube, like I was, for example, they banned me for life and didn't even give me a reason.
And I think is, I want to say 14 years younger than me.
Specific quote, not a specific infraction. And so you don't know what the rules are. You don't know what the process is. They just take you down. And especially now when everything's digital, that's not.
I didn't shake my head in any way.
Just the social platforms. It's the other ones like Uber, Airbnb, whatever. It feels like you're being denied almost something like a civil right. The social platforms are the modern public square. Increasingly with Uber, Airbnb, the banking apps, you can't live your life without the tech platforms. And it felt like if you just simply had the wrong opinions or you were the wrong kind of person, you were being deprived of like a basic civil right or being able to participate in society. So, and I think maybe that's an area of collaboration where we recognize maybe it is a civil right to use the digital platforms, but here are the rules. Here's what you can say. Here's what you can't.
Okay. I mean, look, there's a part of me deep down inside that's like, look, you're on a platform, right? And there has to be some sort of decorum there. Like you have every right to say whatever the fuck you want to say. If it's mean, racist, bigoted, xenophobic, whatever. By all means, like if that's your prerogative and you want to be that type of person, do it. But if you're on a platform and you're like, why don't they have more rules? Like you should know going into this, especially if you're a public figure or if you're being noticed more frequently, that maybe I have to tone this shit down before I get banned. I
can't say, here's the process.
I'm just confused on this line of thinking. I've gone 16 years older and younger. If he's into that range, I'm game. How old are you, Kendar? Hopeless they get it.
Yes, maybe there's a reconciliation mechanism, but I mean, the censorship was just out of control. I don't think anyone disagrees there's a reasonable limit, though.
Yeah, no, I guess what I'm saying is that
I'm king of pausing people's faces at the most disgusting times. I think that is my superpower.
That I don't see that as a result of left wing or right wing ideology.
Okay, I won't. I take it back.
I
just remembered you said it a while back, and I was like, okay.
That kind of level of deplatforming. Look, I was debanked. I was debanked before I was ever even charged with anything. I lost every bank account. It took me, 9 months once they, the Trump administration, said that they were starting an investigation into me to be able to actually get a bank account again. And I don't want to tell you the bank because tomorrow they may debank me again. But my point is that those people are incredibly identifiable. I've been talking and going around and I say things like, I don't think we are nearly as divided as they're telling us we are. Because I do believe that there is.
I agree with that statement to an extent. I think there is a segment of this population, of the United States population, that does believe everything that is coming out of the Trump administration and the right wing, media and the MAGA talking heads. I think they believe it all, but I think there is a larger piece of the puzzle that is not nearly as divided. I think I just personally think that this is one thing I agree with Hunter on. I think we're just being told that we're divided. And I just clicked the wrong thing.
There are an identifiable group of people that are responsible for an enormous amount of the discord and division because they make money off of it. I think that these social media companies that are controlled by 3, 4, 5, individuals have made it clear that they own.
I can test him. He doesn't have to know. I can pass for younger than I am, so just send him and then I'll admit stuff. Okay. The facial hair, the gray in my beard, has completely shot the passing for younger. People look at me and they're like, "You're older because you got gray in your beard." And I'm like, "Okay."
Only care about one thing. They only care about how much money they can produce for themselves and the people that hold stocks in their company. Even to the degree where we know for certain that they're driving teenage girls to the highest levels of suicide by a factor, like exponential factors, directly related to.
That's the shit that I do not like, and that shit should be the way social media is working nowadays, and the way they're serving up stuff to younger children. That should be illegal. I just don't like it. I just don't like it. What's with the analog camera? You don't like it, Ben? You don't like it? I don't know. It kind of I guess it gives a little bit of a textured look. I don't know.
To the content that they're being pushed, and they won't do anything about it.
Right.
And so, to the same degree, I think they, a lot of what you call wokeness was maybe an illegitimate, but a financial decision.
It does feel like they're in the back rooms, though.
On a lot of these
corporate psyop, maybe.
Corporate psyop.
Maybe that's it.
I mean, by the way, exactly.
Yeah, I like it, but it seems kind of useless. Look, I am all for the touch of I like flavor when I'm watching stuff. Don't get me wrong, I love it. I think that type of stuff is great. Is it useless? Yeah, but it gives it a air of I don't know, like it makes it just gives it. I don't know. It feels a little bit more, not necessarily lively, but like it feels there's like momentum to it, and it's an interview, so I feel like interviews, especially when they're just like static, be kind of gross. Back room, the back room, not bathroom. I mean, it could be a bathroom.
I just wanted to back up real quick. So you talked about certain people going too far. About 2.5 months ago, I visited a whites-only community in Hardy, Arkansas. And I don't know why. I guess coming from like a more like left-wing place, I'm from Seattle. I kind of assumed there was like a united front on the right for some reason. So I'm out there, I'm chilling with these dudes. They're like sword fighting, having barbecues. Overall.
Dead in the back. Definitely threesome happening after this interview. A lot of sucking and fucking, I guess. Three-way blowjob.
Probably was a good time for them.
I mean, look, if you know anything about Nick Fuentes, it is kind of an open secret that I think he's allegedly gay, and it's also kind of an open secret that he kind of did something with, like he was kind of hooking up with Destiny of all things. Told you those are fuck chairs. I don't know how true that last statement is, but yeah. I mean, it's more of like a weird triangle, you know? The whole Ruby Ridge situation. Yeah, it is very, very, very.
I had a hard time connecting with them because I don't agree with them, but it's all good. I was having fun for a couple days. And then, like, right as I was there, I guess you had hit them up on X or something and said, like, hey, I don't want to associate with you guys. What happened there?
Well, that was really more of a personal disagreement with the guy that founded it.
Yeah.
But I do think it's an interesting project, and it's interesting that got so much pushback, this whites-only community, because you know what? If you go to a lot of these different neighborhoods in major cities, there are ethnic enclaves.
Crazy story.
And it's not like there's an explicit rule that you have to be a certain ethnicity, but we all know in Chicago and New York and LA, you got certain neighborhoods where it is 80, 90% one ethnicity.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of white people that say we kind of want something similar. I don't think there's anything.
I was trying to figure out
if you want to talk about the histories of New York and Chicago, I feel like
the fucking Branch Dominicans, right? With what's his fucking face? I can't remember the name. Destiny. Don't make me debate the Destiny versus Hassan thing. I don't have time. I'm not gonna pit anyone. Branch Davidian. Yeah. Nope. Different story. Okay. That's what I was trying to figure out. I was like, was that it? No, it is different. And I'm just pulling it up right here. Oh my God. I watched the Oompaville video about this. This is why it sounded so familiar. Randy Weaver, best known for his role in the 1992 Ruby Ridge siege and father of four, has died at age 74. Okay, so he passed away really recently. Really wish. Oh, it's because I'm in the wrong section. 11-day siege in August of 1992 involving Randy Weaver, his family, and a federal law enforcement in Boundary County, Idaho. The deadly confrontation resulted in the deaths of Weaver's 14-year-old son, Sammy, his wife, Vicky, and Deputy U.S. Marshal William DeGan. Root cause: Weaver failed to appear in court on federal charges for selling illegal short-barreled shotguns to an undercover informant. Jesus. That went sour, yeah. I'm just not in the mood. Yeah, I'm not going to hit anyone against. I don't like Destiny, and I'm just going to say it here. I think the stuff that has come out about him, not great. I don't also like his style of debating because it feels very much like the style of debating that I think is what's wrong with politics right now. Laptop is dead. Typing on the miniature keyboard on my phone now. Oof. But yeah, Professor Dave hates Destiny 2. By the way, there was a video that came out. I think it was the Professor Dave video. I watched most of it. He tears into fucking him. And you find out, I didn't know this, but apparently Professor Dave's wife is Palestinian as well. I like Destiny style because it's cathartic. My issue with Destiny is that the stuff with the exploitation of a teenager was not good. That's just not. It's like not defensible in any way. Not defensible in any way. He took advantage of a child essentially, and if you're trying to get a compromise on a guy to spy on a heavily armed white Christian nationalist community. And then I personally don't believe that. There's so much evidence. Like there's literally like the Discord logs for that were leaked. Like there's so much there. And then his take on Israel and everything is just like he comes off as bought out by Israel. Evidence is not truth, though. I mean, it informs the truth. And from what I saw and read, I felt very much like, yeah. I'm still confused between the beef between Hassan and Destiny. I think it's ego. It is ego. I don't care for his ad hominem. I'm not aware about the CSA stuff. I'll put it in the Discord. I come from a true crime community, unless proven, it's just meh. I personally watch a lot of true crime myself. I'm someone who used to watch Destiny pretty frequently. Not in your Discord. I'll put this stuff up in there. There's a few things, but I'm gonna put the Professor Day video covering the Israel stuff about Destiny, which is not good. It's just not good. Destiny did not handle any of that shit well at all. Let me just run this.
Like that was also a conscious decision that was made. Like after
I tell you
the
where it's blacks only. It's in Cabrini Green, where Mayor Daley made everybody that was black live in Cabrini Green. I mean, it's not. That wasn't by choice. It's not by choice.
There was one guy. Is he Scottish? I used to watch pretty frequently, and I just kind of stopped. I stopped consuming true crime stuff because it just turned into the same thing where I was just watching the same stuff over and over and over again. Where one creator would pick up the same story, and then they would basically just repeat, the same story again and again and again.
Choice that these ethnic enclaves are 80 or 90%, whatever that ethnicity is, it's because that's the only place in which they had an opportunity to live unbothered, or where they were told that they had to live because of the historical fact that they could not move into other neighborhoods. You could not move into parts of South Chicago without, being stoned.
Right.
Literally, right?
Yeah.
And so, like that. So it's not as if those ethnic enclaves are there by choice. And so that
also ethnic enclaves do exist for like specific variations of different Europeans. Like there is like places that are chocolate. Like South Philly's full of Italians.
There's Little Italy and there's Little Korea.
So I think the issue, what I always like, what confused me the most about the whites only community is like there's just so many different kinds of white people in America. So like to establish a unified white culture with a place so diverse and full of like different regional flavors just kind of felt confusing to me because that can mean a different thing depending on what part of the country, what European enclave you originated from. Like we're Irish people from the Philly area. Can you compare that to like surfers in San Diego or even like Italian Americans in Staten Island? I don't know. Everything just feels so different. So when I got there, I was trying to identify what they meant by white culture. It wasn't really based on shared like cultural practices, but more the exclusion of people who weren't white.
I think, Dart, my stance is this. I think it is, you can say that's your prerogative and that's fine. I personally look at it this way. Destiny's I think, what, is he 40, right? 30 something? There's no reason he should be talking or interacting with anyone under the age of 18. Like, advertising is just insane. It's very. That's my stance. You don't have to reply, Joel. I'm not. I'm just saying. Just saying. Look, as a he's 37. As a 41-year-old, I cannot imagine being like, yeah, I'm gonna make contact with a child. I just couldn't.
So they weren't like stoked on being European necessarily. They were more just like, oh, we're here because those people aren't here. So it just kind of felt more negative than constructive.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm not really involved with that project in particular, but I think that, look, I mean, you talk about the anger that's out there and the frustration, and I think part of the frustration, let's be honest, is that white people do feel like we are being boxed out in major cities in the country, and it feels like, look, there's a little Haiti, and there's various ethnic enclaves where you get that local culture, and they do their, cultural festivals and that sort of thing, and white people feel like they're being pushed out, and they want a space where things are familiar.
Do you feel the same way about the the Italian festival that happens in every city?
Well, here's a good example. So,
or St. Patrick's Day?
Well, you know, there's no Irish neighborhood in Chicago. Little
Sure
Italy.
there is.
I mean, there's some
Also,
remnant in Bridgeport.
Yeah,
And,
it's important to note that, like, and I'm not trying to get into like a shouting match here, but like, you know, as a family coming from a family who did leave Philadelphia in the 60s because of black migration from the South after the Civil Rights Act was passed, there was a sort of like mass flight of white people into the suburbs, and that kind of led to a homogenization of different cultures because they rushed so fast to build these like identical strip mall suburbs that it was very hard to maintain cultural bonds that made different European and white neighborhoods unique around like the 1950s and before. So I feel like the mass suburbanization is also a big factor that led to those like cultural bonds breaking.
yeah, but why did that happen? I mean, a lot of the suburbanization is because of the race riots in the 1960s. People moved out because of the violence. You know, my grandfather was in the National Guard in Chicago when after MLK got assassinated, the whole West Side burned to the ground.
Yeah, I'll let Brendan know. I'll be like, Brendan, here's their username. If you want to do anything with this, you can.
People didn't want to be around that anymore.
Why were the riots?
MLK Jr. was assassinated.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so does that justify burning down the city?
No, I didn't say it justifies it, but it sure justifies an enormous amount of the anger. The same kind of anger that you feel about being left out. The same kind of anger that you're expressing right now about the idea that you're culturally irrelevant, that you don't have a place in society. Imagine if you were a 26-year-old black man in 1968 and saw your hero be assassinated.
I saw Trump get shot in the ear and
did he?
And I saw Charlie Kirk get shot, and I didn't see any cities get burned down. It's funny how that works.
I think it's a very, very, very different thing. I think
How's
it's
that different?
absolutely
Charlie Kirk got shot in the neck.
Yeah.
And liberals celebrated all over social media by Tyler Robinson.
Yeah. Who is what?
Yeah.
Who is some?
That's the shit too. Like this is the right wing talking points that I absolutely hate. Barbie, acting the violence wasn't coming from white people. It was, yes. That's the big issue. That is the big issue. Under delivering the bitch slap. Yeah. That's the issue, though. And this too, this whole like when the right starts talking about, oh, you know, the left was, you know, celebrating Charlie Kirk's death. I have seen the right do the fucking same about a lot of fucking people on the left. And look, I don't want to make this a right versus left thing because it's really not. It's a media thing. It's the outrage fucking cycle that we kind of put ourselves into. The reality is this. People are going to do that shit because you know what? That is just something that happens with people. People have no tact sometimes. Sometimes people don't go, should I do this? Sometimes they just do it. They're impulsive. No, it's about whose opinion matters and whose doesn't. Right. That too. What I'm trying to say is this. Like, no one's looking at this and going like, this is not just a left versus right thing. This is a person thing. It's fundamentally about in groups and out groups. Yeah. And look, and I'm going to say something that's going to sound like I'm wishy-washy. Both sides do it. And personally, I don't think celebrate anyone's death unless they were the absolute worst, the fucking worst. Like Lindsey Graham, I don't care. You can say all the mean, terrible shit about Lindsey Graham, and I'd be like, you know what? You're fucking right. Of course, no surprise there. You can. Charlie Kirk, I actually think, has no redeeming qualities whatsoever either. And do I feel bad when you know people celebrate? Not at all. Do I go, that's not good? Part of me in the back of my brain goes, I wouldn't do that. That is just calling for weird attention that you probably don't want on yourself. I wouldn't want it. But if you want to do it, I'm never going to sit there and be like, ooh, gross, nasty. But there are people like, fuck, I almost said someone, I'm like, yeah, there's people out there who'd be like, no, that person was an asshole too. Charlie Kirk, no thanks. Yeah, Charlie Kirk is a piece of shit. But, you know, Trump celebrating Rob Reiner and things like that. Like, Rob Reiner was probably, I don't know Rob Reiner as a person, but as a public figure, that's the thing, though. Like, that is the thing. It's like, you cannot tear someone down who absolutely had no malice towards anyone and just wanted people, just normal people, to have a, like, life. I don't know. Back to true crime thing. What about the guy the entire town just killed and said nothing? Wait, I didn't hear about that. I'm in a diverse neighborhood, and my in-laws came over once and called it a bad neighborhood. That is fucking disgusting. That's wild.
Liberal guy.
Was it Mary Lou?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
What?
He's got a transgender boyfriend.
Does that make him liberal? Because he's transgender?
Is anyone gonna... also fight against this talking point about Tyler Robinson being with this person, because I never picked up that the quote unquote boyfriend of Tyler Robinson was actually transgender and their boyfriend, and didn't come off that way. Yeah, that is sad.
Because he's gay?
So. Well, because he's got a transgender boyfriend. Yeah, I think so.
It makes him liberal.
I think he was liberal. Yeah.
Okay. Well, he didn't come from a liberal family. He didn't come from a liberal enclave. He didn't come from a liberal background. He's not a minority. He was a Mormon.
Dude, what the fuck? I was happy, man. They weren't coming back. Go on with your bad self. Yeah. My mom once said, my neighbor was getting dark. I literally told her to shut the fuck up. My neighborhood was getting dark. I literally told her to shut the fuck up. He was out mowing his lawn, doing normal homeowner shit. Yeah.
Correct? And grew up in a Mormon household, and he went to a largely Mormon college, and he ended up committing an act of violence, according to the FBI and the authorities in Utah that charged him. How does that in any way compare to what we're talking about? I'm not justifying the violence that occurred after the death of Martin Luther King, but you're saying that person, this Tyler, whoever his name is was as disenfranchised as the African American community in 1968 in inner cities?
Well, the question is who we want to live around.
I'm not living around blacks. Sorry. I want white kids, and I don't want my white kids bringing home black people to marry.
And in the 1960s, the West Side burns down. We don't want to live around that. We don't want to live around a city that's burning down.
That's not when the white flight happened.
It is. It was a big response to it. Absolutely.
100% not.
Absolutely.
You make these historical
why cut to
connections that don't exist. Part of it was potentially, but before that, what Mayor Daley...
Ken McElroy in Skidmore, Michigan. I want to be a bouncer for a Mormon family.
Did is made Chicago the most segregated city in the entire United States, other than Boston. When you would come from the South to Chicago, African Americans from the South, blacks in the South coming to Chicago would say that Chicago was twice the level of segregation and racism that occurred in the South. And so it wasn't as if you're coming into a situation in which you're feeling in any way enfranchised by the community and the situation that you're in. And as many people left simply because of the idea that someone was black moving into their neighborhood as the violence that occurred after the assassination of Martin Luther King. So the numbers actually, pre-1968, when King was shot, you had more people leave the city because of the desegregation, because of the 1964 Civil Rights Act, than you did after the riot.
I picked it up. I knew what you were saying.
I think that's just not true. I think that the race riots were a huge driver of white flight to the suburbs. I think it's just dishonest to say that's not the case.
Okay, so what's your point about all of this?
Well, we're talking about where people want to live.
Yeah, I know. So like what in 2026?
Well, how about in 2020 when Minneapolis burned to the ground? Or how about in the summer of 2020 in Chicago?
Minneapolis didn't burn to the ground.
It didn't?
No. I mean, there were
BLM didn't destroy
if you guys need a physical witness to what happened in Minneapolis, there were many structures that burned to the ground. Not the city, but there was, I would say, between 40 to 50 buildings off of Lake Street in the south side that did burn to the ground.
Yeah, they're just circling the entire issue without putting their finger right on it. Right. This is the problem sometimes with these interviews. It's like you have two people you have one person who's trying to obfuscate the truth by lying, and the other person's trying to get them, like trying to lead them to water, and then they just drop it. This is my problem with like some of these formats. Because there's, Andrew's doing a good job here. He's actually trying to like moderate a little bit, but yeah.
But most of the city was intact, but it was quite an intense situation.
People don't want to live around that. People don't want to live around that. In Chicago, it rolled on into the summer, and it wasn't, let's say, the anger of the oppressed and the disenfranchised.
So
they were looting. They were looting in cars there. The criminals.
Are you saying that the problem with the 26-year-old white kid living in suburbia outside of Chicago and his feeling of being disenfranchised is because there was looting and rioting in Minneapolis by black people, and it's black people that are doing it?
Yeah, I mean the problem with Austin Metcalf was that he got stabbed in the neck at a track meet, and the problem with our city in Chicago.
My God, this is something that this is what I hate about the right. They're like, I don't know. There's like there's something about them where they just go, one person did it, and because they were a different race than white, that means they're all bad. And it's like, I need people to understand that there are people who make bad choices who are different races. It happens all the time. Not the color of their skin that dictated that they were going to do something illegal or bad. It was them, the person. Yeah, it's all a stalling technique to obscure the downstream effect of our history. Yeah. I'm definitely not the dirtiest here, so butt dial that shit. Okay.
Is that the Magnificent Mile is gone, water tower place is gone because of all the crime.
Nick, and the problem with an entire generation of African Americans is that they've been getting killed by cops for decades. What are you talking about, Nick?
Because they commit crime. And listen, it's not...
Nick,
what?
That's not true. It's not true. Are you saying that police brutality as it relates in racism in the police force, in the way in which police treat African Americans? Nick, you could grow up here like I did between Wilmington and Philadelphia. And if you were a black dentist and you lived in Wilmington and you commuted to Philadelphia, the chances of you being pulled over by a state trooper, either Delaware or in Pennsylvania, are about 50 times that would be if it was a white guy. 50 times. And so what you're trying to tell me is that the problem...
This was in Frisco, right? It's been a while since I lived over there, over that way, but isn't Frisco a white area? Oh, I don't know. I want to say that it might be, but I can't remember. I don't think I've ever been to Frisco, Texas. There it is again. Police have to kill people. Yeah. Nick is not the sharpest knife in the drawer. I actually think this is all, like I said earlier, I think it's all political theater. I think he knows exactly what he's saying, and I think he knows exactly what he's doing.
problem in America right now is that a 26-year-old white kid who lives in suburban Chicago doesn't feel like he has access because he's been canceled or he's been woke, and the problem is black people.
I didn't say the problem's black people.
Well, you just did, Nick. You just said
the problem is crime, and we know who's doing the crime in Chicago. The carjackings, shootings, teen takeovers. We know why there's no business on the Mag Mile anymore, and it's because they steal cars, they drive them through windows. And listen, black people are some of the biggest victims of the black crime. But we're not allowed to talk about it because of the racial dimension.
What do you mean you're not allowed to talk about it? We're talking about it right here. You have a platform in which millions of people listen to you, Nick.
Well, after Elon had to buy Twitter and open it up. It wasn't like that before. I was banned from everything for many years. So no, you weren't allowed it. You're right. We can talk about it now.
What's the difference between cops shooting kids for stealing Twinkies and an entire town of people shooting the town bully? I mean, if this is a thought experiment, taking a life is taking a life, and that should not happen. There should be stopgaps in place that prevent that type of stuff. It is a thought experiment. I know. But taking a life is taking a life, and I personally don't believe anyone should just die, no matter how mean or evil they are. I don't know. I don't see any reason to kill anyone, you know? Nick is playing to his base. He has to keep the super chats up. Is that how you do it? Is that how you make tons of money? You just fucking lie? State versus community. My husband has done a lot of construction work over in Frisco. It's very hotty-totty.
Oh, but that's only because the good guys won.
Hey, what's up, guys? There's something I forgot to tell you about. We all #1, The Art of Protest, made by the homies over at Indecline, who we interviewed a few months back. Film.
I'm like really interested in seeing some of these docs, by the way.
2, Rat Film by Theo Anthony, set in Baltimore, investigates the lives and times of the rodent population through the eyes of the people who love the rats of Baltimore, study the rats of Baltimore, or are paid to execute and trap the rodents of Charm City. Documentary #3, Star Cash by Haley Garrigus, an amazing Wall Street documentary that follows the lives of market predictors, that's right, stock analysts who stare at the planets to figure out what's going to happen with the money. Documentary #4 is called Physician Heal Thyself by director Asher Penn, a fascinating lifelong profile featuring tons of archival footage documenting a physician, psychiatrist, philosopher, sorcerer of the mind named Gabor Mate. Very influential dude as far as addiction and trauma and healing. He's about as good as it gets. He's the top dog in that realm. So check that documentary out. Documentary #5 is my own. Had to put my own sauce on there to get the train moving. It is called Find.
The state's always more willing to execute people than the community is. That's the difference. Which is true. Well, not too long ago that he makes $200-300K a year from super chats. Jesus fucking Christ! Just from being a fucking piece of shit. And I just really wish there's a part of me deep down in my soul, and I'm like, you know, you could be that bad. You could be that fucking, I don't know, malicious. I don't know. it just makes me depressed thinking that people are willingly doing this shit just so they can make a shit ton of money. It just, yeah, it's gross. I don't know. It like makes me feel weird. I could be a really great human if someone was making that kind of moolah. I just like there's in my head I'm like if you're getting that kind of money, like you have to be being bought. Otherwise, I'm kind of mediocre. Yeah, same for me, I guess. I don't know.
Ending Orson, a 45-minute documentary that
I just want to make $50K a year. That would be great. I wish I could make $50K a year right now too.
shot over the course of a year and a half, trying to reunite a beloved friend and elderly community member named Rick Shore with his lost parrot named Orson. Maybe he's just too embarrassed to admit that he doesn't want the bird anymore. So those are the 5 films on C5.now. A totally independent, creator residual forward, power to the people studios. We're not afraid to take a risk, and of course, pay creators fairly. The link is in the pinned comment and description box of this video, and most importantly, it's not just a website, it's an app on your phone and a smart TV app. So get your popcorn, get your remote.
That's the thing that kind of sold me. I was like, okay, so it's an app that I can just use on my smart TV? Hell yeah.
Sit down, it's time to learn. I'll see you guys soon.
You went from being banned on Twitter to being on YouTube to creating an entire show. I know you're not, but now you have Kick and now you have all of these other things. You have an enormous platform. I want to find common ground of how much of a shithead Donald Trump is. We can get there. We can get there. Okay? What I don't understand is how you didn't recognize that in 2016, and how you didn't recognize that in 2020, and how you didn't recognize that in 2024. Because Donald Trump hasn't. Because Donald Trump hasn't changed. Mm-hmm. Donald Trump hasn't changed at all. Donald Trump has been Donald Trump since.
I'm gonna say that. That's actually not true. Donald Trump has gotten worse. And I'm talking mentally unstable worse. He has changed. And the grift has gotten a lot more transparent than it used to be. He's now just robbing people, like just out in the open. Like insider trading out the wazoo type shit. So I don't know. I don't subscribe to this thing like he hasn't changed. He's still the same person. No, he's changed. It's just they don't care and they know they can get away with it.
Since he came out of the womb of a woman that was an immigrant to this country. And so what I want to know, though, is that I don't know how we get past this idea that the biggest problem that you have with your personal situation and how you extrapolate that to the situation of other white kids that are your age, that feel disenfranchised, that feel left out, that feel they don't have a
yeah, he doesn't have the people that were holding him back like he did in his first term. Yeah, there's a lot of people I think being like, no. Look at what's happening in that reckless bin case. Corporations and a top-down authoritarian state cooperating to legitimize a false narrative. That whole situation is wild. Reckless bin is just lucky. Here's the thing: he's lucky that he has the platform that he has. Because any other person would have just been drowned in fucking just debt. And then would have just fucked off and been like, I don't want to deal with any of this stuff. Just drop all the charges. I'll take down the videos, all that shit. He, from what I've understood too, as the case has gone on, it has gotten, Bricks and Minifigs has absolutely fucked themselves with just how much footage Reckless Ben, him and his team recorded, that it makes them look insane. And then the fact that they were getting footage, like all of that footage, the body cam footage has not done a lick of fucking, like it's done no good for them, Bricks and Minifig. But yeah, you're right though. The thing is, like, when you have money and when you have ins in the government, it seems like you can do a lot of crazy, insane shit. Keep hearing those people saying, well, he didn't do that in this first term. And we keep telling them he won't have those people that held him back like he did in the first term. Yeah, like the first term did. Or that guy arrested for the reflecting pool then has found one case among the many, which is crazy. By the way, that reflecting pool situation, I'm shocked no one is doing investigative reporting on that, because that right there would be like, if this was like 30 years ago, even 25 or even 20, that would be on, like, that'd be front page news. That would be front fucking page news. The fucking person who got, it was over 100 years for quote unquote being in Antifa, right? That shit is insane. Because the judge wanted to make a fucking example out of that person. Insane shit.
A shot at the American dream is because of black and brown people, because of Mexicans, because of Venezuelans, because of Haitians, it's always other, Nick, with you. It seems to me, and I've listened to a lot of the stuff. It's always them. We need to build a wall. Where's the wall, Nick? He never built the wall. Why'd you vote for him in 2020? Why'd you vote for him in 2024?
I didn't vote for him in 2024.
Okay. My point being is that
here's what you should be concerned about. A person like Nick Fuentes, he is not flappable in any way. Like, you cannot get him to react outside of just being this thing. Biden is very not triggered, but he is feeling very passionate in this moment, and Nick is just going, I didn't do that.
Whenever you identify your problem as being something that is other,
their own witnesses are swearing their case for them. Yeah,
you can point to that's a minority, that is a group of people, that's the Jews, before, remember, all of us, it was the Irish Catholics who were committing the crime, who weren't allowed into bars, who weren't allowed into, because you know why? Because they were dirty, poor, non-Europeans. They were Irish. Every time it's wrong. Every time history has proven that to be wrong in the United States of America. Every time. Inclusion has been our greatest strength. Diversity has been our greatest strength. And I hear you talk about this idea of white culture. What fucking white culture are you talking about, man? What
Shakespeare, Dante, Mozart. We're in Philadelphia.
The darn Irish Catholics. This is the thing I also argue. It's like, what is this quote unquote white culture? And they always lean onto these like historical figures who were white.
The founding fathers.
Yeah.
That's your white
culture. How about
culture.
the Count of Monte Cristo? Would you consider that part of our white culture?
Sure.
Okay. Well, it was written by a black man in France in the 1700s.
In a milieu of European civilization.
So what?
Trump attacked the justice system, took it over, and now it's lost all semblance of impartiality. Yeah. We're in a weird place. We're in a weird place. I always think about this. I'm like, how do you fix it? And I always go back to the idea of like, there's got to be some massive change, some sort of. There's a phrase that comes to mind. I don't want to say it out loud, but it's a rebellious act that would have to happen for this to be, I think, rectified in a more permanent sense. Our elected officials are not doing anything, even though they tell us they're trying to do stuff. It does not feel like there's any hope, The tours on this? What do you mean by tours? Explain that one to me. I was like trying to go through my Rolodex of phrasing. I don't know what tours is.
You're picking out one example. It really is.
I'm not just picking out one example.
It really is.
Nick.
Listen.
Nick, I'm not. I really am not.
Hey guys, I think we're reaching what's called a rock in a hard place. Let's talk about Israel.
Let me respond to this because
you second menders. I gotcha. Okay. Gotcha. Yeah. Yeah, Second Amendment. You're right. You're right. You're completely right. Has this been their entire thing? Yes, it has. They've stood on ground that, like, the government gets out of hand. Like, we have our guns for a particular reason, and they're all, I think they're complacent right now. I think they are cooked. I think that's the truth of the matter. I think like, just like most conservative males, they talk a big goddamn game, but the moment their team says, "Hey, we're actually gonna fucking do a 180 on you," they go, "Yes, master." Mm-hmm. Like, we're in the situation where they are completely copacetic with exactly the thing that they pretend to oppose. Got a jet. See y'all on the next stream. Yeah. Probably looking at. I'll put a note up tonight on the community, but or in Discord. But I might be doing one tomorrow. I don't know yet. I have a hard out here in the next like 30 minutes. So we could pick this up and maybe do this for a couple hours. I've got some editing I have to do. So I'm like on the fence about doing it tomorrow or not. I did say I was going to do a third one this week, but I have 5 fucking videos that are in the fucking works right now. But yeah, Holly, go take care of yourself. Thank you so much, and I'll see you maybe tomorrow, but most likely Monday evening.
You're telling me I'm always blaming the other.
No, Nick, for real. Here's the thing, is that the way that you talk and throw out these historical facts, which, by the way, aren't fucking facts. Okay?
Which one?
Okay.
Those aren't facts.
Well, as it relates to the Civil Rights Movement in 1968, and the reason why we're out in the problem that we're in is because the Civil Rights Act passed in 1964. Dr. Martin Luther King was killed and shot by a white racist, white supremacist in 1968 on a balcony of a motel. That's the root of our trouble, because an entire people that have been disenfranchised and enslaved for over 400 years.
We're sick of hearing about that, though. It's 2026.
This is why you can't have a conversation. Best way to stay stable. Yeah, I'm gonna clench. Use my cheeks. Okay. This fucking so dumb. I'm not saying what Hunter's saying, but just Nick saying like it's 2020. You just gotta get over it. It's so fucking like okay. Yeah, I know he's refusing to acknowledge the downstream effect of our history. Sick of hearing. That's the question: is what are you sick of hearing? That people are disenfranchised, and a group of people are being blamed for all the ills in our society. I mean, he did it in this fucking interview here. He was like, I didn't say black people, but we know who's causing all the crime, and it's all like, what the fuck, dude? You're proving the point. You're just proving what Hunter is trying to tell you.
Be sick of hearing about it, but you know what? They aren't. And I'll tell you what, Nick. Here's the other thing.
Get over it. It's America.
Okay, but Nick, you can say stuff like that, okay, without having to say it like that. And
that's not how it started, though.
This is a legitimate argument, but it's Nick.
Guys, the fact there's people on board with Nick is sickening. Then the thing the thing that I tell myself is this: there are people out there who are disenfranchised themselves, and they look to people who talk directly to them. And there are people out there who, no matter what race they are, look to this stuff and go, he is speaking the truth. Even though he's not, even though he's just spouting a bunch of bullshit. He's a liar. But there are people out there who just need a community, and it's people like him who will accept anyone. And we need to do a better job, I think, when it comes to mental health. There is a lack of just, I think, like ways or ways of getting people help. It's people like Nick Fuentes that draw people who are lonely, sad, depressed. We have to do a much better fucking job of that, because it's people like this who take advantage of those people. It just is the truth. It is the fucking truth. I'm not going to call the people who follow Nick sick. I think they're sick in a different way. I think they're sad. And I think they are lost, and they need some sort of guidance. And unfortunately, they found 4chan, they found X, they found all of these places, and they funneled those people directly to Nick Fuentes. I'm not saying you're not wrong for calling them sick. They are sick in what they believe and things like that. Yeah, they want purpose. I think that's, okay. I'm going to talk a little bit about something that is kind of tangentially involved with this, and it revolves around. Can we say off track? They're off track, yes. But I'll talk about this. There's this concept, right? Of the word lazy, right? This thing of calling people who are depressed or have no motivation lazy. People who, find no momentum. Gotta go catch you later. Hey, Cherish, I'll talk to you later, all right? Who have no ability to. They don't look. What it is when it comes down to it, the idea of laziness is not like we should not be using the word lazy when it comes to people. We should be asking the question, why are people not motivated to do things? Like do the thing, right? That makes them happy. And we should eradicate the word lazy, right? Typically when humans are not doing things, it's because they're depressed. And they need purpose in life. Why do people think they can have a conversation with a piece of shit? Fuentes is a fucking turd. Oh yeah, this is an exercise in masturbatory interviewing, Michelle. Like I personally believe that this is a there are two people in this room who are jerking each other off. It's not lazy. It's not motivated. Right. And motivation, like for me, like I was called lazy my entire life. I thought there was something fucking wrong with me. The reality is like if I go back in time and I look at my life, I had no purpose. I also was extraordinarily depressed. I was isolated, and I had no human connection. I still deal with the human connection bit. It is very tough for me. But when you grow up in a place where you are kind of hidden away, told not to talk, and anything you do is scrutinized. Oh, cool. Thanks. Someone just got fucking nuked on Twitch. I love it. I'm glad I have that auto destroyer. That's the shit that like if I was a teenager when Nick Fuentes or during this period of time, I would be concerned for me. I'd be looking at being like, I'm lost. And I would look for anything. I would have so much hatred in my fucking heart, in my soul. And so I feel so bad for the people out there who have to fall into a community like this to get validation. It's not good. It's not good. I mean, it's kind of motivational speaker adjacent, but it's also coming from a community perspective. Yeah, exactly. By the way, I fucking hate motivational speaking. I think it is I think a lot of motivational speaking is a way to not allow people to understand what is fully happening within them. I got a parent sent me an article after I kind of told them what was going on in my personal life, and how I felt. And this is like I think about a year ago. How I was dealing with suicidal ideation, and they sent me a thing from a person who is a so-called motivational speaker, and it was how I learned to just let things go. And all I could think of was like, you just don't want me to talk about this with you. You don't want me to explain what is going on. You want me to just live ignorantly to my own emotions. You want me to just say, fuck it. And the reality is this, like, I've lived my entire life doing that, and it's not benefited me at all. It's turned me into an angry, bitter person. I deal with, weird anger issues because I had never knew how to communicate. And it took me just absolutely falling a fucking apart before that actually became a fucking thing. You're not lazy. That's a horrible word. I was called that while I was working full time and going to school full time, but someone who had no education, by someone who had no education. I was in a job. I'm not gonna go down a rabbit hole. In a job, I did 24 fucking 7. Was scrutinized to a point to where I then became that fucking person that they were scrutinizing. I felt like nothing I did mattered. And that's the shit that was not good. I got a therapist that listens to me so that my friends and family don't have to work this shit out with me because I kept asking questions. No, that's not okay. Sorry, Joel. It's really not okay. No, it's not. When your entire life you've believed the idea that there's something wrong with you, um, it's really, really hard to feel like you're valuable in any way. It's really and not lazy, just unmotivated, and that's okay. Yeah. It's one of those things where when you break it all down, and I'm talking about this from my perspective, I saw no value in living. I saw no value in congregating. When I was in a room with people, I still deal with this. I still deal with this to this day. When I'm in public situations, um, I'm always got my back turned, or my back up against a wall, and I'm always looking at the exit to get out. You're valuable in the story. Look, I have to tell myself that because it does make things a little bit easier. Sometimes I try to figure things out, and they just keep bugging me. They just keep bugging me. That's the thing, though. Like I went to a therapist for years, and I sometimes just feel like there was more that could have been done. And currently, I'm doing EMDR. I think that's all I wanted was a Pepsi. All right. That fucking song is fucking kind of awesome. Yeah, just one Pepsi, Mom. I just want a Pepsi. Nick Fuentes got to talk about life. But that's the thing, though, and I think that is the core to all of this is that this guy right here taking advantage of a bunch of fucking people who are sad and depressed, just like the MAGA movement is taking advantage of the illiterate, the sheep of their party, because there are people out there who are so uneducated who have voted Republican their entire life and are voting against their own interests. There are people who are voting for Trump and Republicans because they know they're going to make a shit ton of money. Don't get me wrong, there's a lot of people like that, but there's a lot of people who just blindly follow what is being said on Newsmax, Fox News, what's coming straight out of the White House. This administration is bad. This is just bad. So you matter stuff the fuck up. I appreciate that. Don't make me make you assume the position. I'm good with paddle. All right. I thought going to couples therapy with my husband, I could finally get something worked out with him. That destroyed us. But neither the therapist or him would let me even bring it up. Told me to leave it in the past. See, that is not good. You have to heal that piece of the puzzle before you can move forward. That is just the reality. Yeah, this administration's bad, but it's soon to be insanely rich. I could share a story about a parent who I told. There was a period of time where when I was working in the tech sector, there was people who were early investing in crypto and were like, "Hey, I know this is going to do this, this, and this. I highly recommend you invest here and then sell here." I did not take them up on that because I just was like, no. And this parent told me if I had known that, I would have taken it. I would have made a shit ton of money. And I was like, well, that's what separates me and you because I knew exactly what was happening because a few of these instances had already happened in the crypto sector that I was just like, I don't want to be a part of it. You need a different therapist. Not being vultures, just honest. No, honestly, I tried a different one. I even liked, but they did the same thing. Where are the seized oil tankers from Russia, Venezuela, and Iran? Only a few people know. I don't. I sure shit don't. But yeah, Nick Fuentes, these people, this person does not need a platform. And I get, look, and I'm not like shitting on Andrew Callahan. I think this is important to see. My problem is there are people so indoctrinated into the Nick Fuentes cult that they look at this as a win. Trump's back pocket, I'm sure. I'm pretty sure it's in a few people's back pockets right now. Michelle, that is exactly what it is. A lot of people don't. A lot of people think it's unfortunate, but there is a mindset out there that what happened. You have to get over it. And as someone who's made mistakes, I've made mistakes. I've done terrible things in my life. I think about those moments, and all I want to do is just make everything better. You know, especially with the people who I care about and love. You know, everyone has the opportunity to fix things, and you have to recognize that you've done something wrong. You know, if you've done something wrong, of course. I mean, well, hey, I'm not going to say that. I'm going to be like, oh, there's people out there who don't do anything. No, everyone does. Everyone makes mistakes. It's viewing them, going through the process of understanding why you feel the way you feel about it, and then moving forward with that feeling. I have complex PTSD. I am not very shy about sharing that. It is the truth. I deal with a lot of triggers when it comes to certain things. Dealing with like essay topics, I have a tendency to be very clinical about it because of my own situation with essay and me dealing with it as a child. You know, I have issues with, you know, there's this thing that happens like, and it's like, you know, my first memory as a child is one being told to, that if they didn't love me, they wouldn't feed me. I was crying and I was saying nobody loves me. And at the end of it, they told me, so shut up. They didn't say shut the fuck up. They said shut up. And then I think all the times that I went hungry, and then I go, was that even true? Was that? There are different schools of therapy. Pick your therapist by schooling and technique, just by who will your insurance pay for, not just by, yeah, exactly. Kudos to you for meeting that. Well, but I'm telling you this because like that colored my entire childhood. I grew up in a house, you know, with parents who were children when they had kids. So you have to kind of look at it that way. We'll probably pick this back up. If I stream tomorrow, we'll pick it back up tomorrow. And there's a part of me that has some, I guess, sympathy for them for having kids and being young. There's another part of me that is, you know, like I was the kid though. I was the child in that. And I've never gotten, you know, I'm sorry. Anytime I've tried to talk to either parent or either sets of parents, it turns into it turns into just like there's a room full of people with hurt feelings sort of thing, and nothing gets done. And I've learned, you're precious. Look, I've tried my best. I've been angry. I've said my piece where I've been like, you know, I fucking hate them. People are consistent in their pattern of behavior. Yeah, they are. Like I said though, like when just going back to like talking about like someone like Mary Lou, for instance. I believe people are capable of change. Do I think Mary Lou's capable of change? Yes. Do I think she will? I because of what you're saying there, people are consistent in their patterns of behavior. I have just never seen her go outside of that. And with my parents, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. You want more, right? You want more. I've always wanted a parent that cared, right? And that's the stuff that hurts. It's like, I remember just going through life feeling like I felt foreign, if that makes sense. I felt like I was not human. And I couldn't identify with anyone. The target of blame is textbook toxicity. Yeah. And I did I did things to get attention. And I have to tell myself all the time, like, you were a kid, you were a child, you were a young adult, You weren't completely who you are now. Yeah. And I just keep going back. I always go back to that I think that moment, like the first memory, and it dictates like the PTSD side of things a lot, because when you're scared of like people like slamming doors, or hushed tones make you nervous and things like that. I didn't think those were panic attacks. I was told later on, like, no, your body is reacting and you're having a panic attack. You've just gotten very used to having those panic attacks. That's why I deal with random, weird, chronic issues. If you ever see me chewing gum on stream, I'm being extraordinarily transparent right now. I have developed weird pains. And I've been told, even after doing like x-rays and things like that, there's nothing wrong. Everything's fine. After going to EMDR and even talking to another therapist, I found out like my body manifests stress in ways that show up as physical pain. For instance, I was working for the company that I was kind of talking about earlier, where I was working 24/7. And one day I woke up and I had this stinging pain in both armpits. No rash, nothing like that. I went to a doctor. The doctor looked at me and was all like, there's nothing here. And so I was like, well, what is it? Like, we couldn't figure it out. I still don't know what it is, other than my body internalizing stress and pain. And then I developed a spot in my on my lip here. And for some reason, I've been to the dentist three different times. And they're like, there's nothing there. But anytime I talk, I can feel my tooth rubbing against my fucking lip. And all I can think about is the minor pain that turns into blood pain. And so I chew gum. I put a piece of gum right there, because for some reason, having that piece of gum there, I have no issues talking. None whatsoever. And a therapist one day just was like, when I was talking about this stuff, because I was like, I'm having these weird issues I've had in my entire, like, for the last like 20 years. They're like, sounds like you got PTSD, and it sounds like that PTSD is manifesting in parts of your body. Now, the funny part is going through EMDR, the pain has lessened quite a bit. So I'm not trying to be a poster child for fucking EMDR being like a true fix. I still deal with the pain. Still deal with it every day. It happens randomly. It doesn't happen as consistently anymore as it did. But yeah, the body's weird is what I'm trying to get at. Pepsi was my bag for a long time. God. Hold on, I'm looking up something real quick. I got to get out of here in a few minutes. I got it. You're being extraordinarily brave. You don't have to share any of this. We have shit to unpack, and sharing your experience helps everyone understand their own. Thank you. Yeah. The body's very weird. Yeah, no, I've always been very open about certain things like this. And you don't have to be sorry I went through any of it. I think the people who need to be sorry are the people who put me in those situations. Not anyone. It's so funny. One of my parents told my sister that they wish they had done a better job of treating me with more compassion. And the funny thing is, I told my sister, I was like, why can't they just say that to me? Why can't they just that would move mountains for me. That would move that would actually also similar to how the body's muscles will tire out due to being tense because of verbally abusive parents. Yeah. No, I'm just happy to be able to talk to people and just be open and have conversations with people. I think that's my whole point with, I've been streaming on and off for 5 years, I think. And, I have issues with connecting with people. It's because of, the fact that you, as a child, you don't have trust in your own parents. How can you trust anyone, Your pain is lessened, your joy is increased. Thus, we refute entropy. Oh my god, I almost fucking did it. I almost did it. My mother doesn't believe that I have pain and blah blah blah. No, I mean, and here's the thing. I would think Suzanne wouldn't believe me, but there was a moment where I thought I was getting pain in an organ. Let's put it this way. It was near the liver, and I woke up one night in excruciating pain. I almost went to the ER. And they did a basically a ultrasound, and there's nothing wrong. They did say I have a fatty liver. I was drinking at the time, so we kind of was like, okay, I gotta probably chill out. It was not gallbladder either. There's nothing wrong with my gallbladder. It was literally, it turned out that it was most likely kind of what I'm dealing with the other parts of my body, and my body was trying to tell me you need to slow the fuck down. A lumpia under the skin? Ooh. Food? A popular crispy spring roll originating in the Philippines and Indonesia? I'm assuming you said, you mean like a lump under the skin, right? Suzanne had a fucking cyst that would just come randomly. She got it drained once, and then it just came back. It's been gone, I think after the second or third time. It's weirder what our bodies do, especially when we're stressed. But yeah, hey, what's up, Duncan? How are you doing? The exact same thing, and they didn't know. A lipedema, is that right? A lipoma. Oh wait, lipoma. Okay, I'm doing good. I'm about to bolt here. Bolt in a few minutes. All right, I hear the dogs barking downstairs. I had radiant pain, lipoma. I thought it was liver. Really? How did they get that sorted out? Oh my god, I just Googled it just to see. Doughy, squishy to the touch. Hi. My son is dealing with painful IBS symptoms. Has hijacked his daily life. Haven't talked about gastrointestinal things, but I deal with. We're trying to figure it out, but I'd have a colonoscopy and all that shit. It was fine. They said there's nothing wrong. I did have like no nodules or anything like that, but I have extraordinarily bad bad situations that happen. Yeah, so I went on a FODMAP diet. Had some weirdo being racist was frustrating, more than hurtful, but yeah. The people, like anyone who is actively just being racist and they don't like, I'm not saying if they know you or anything like that, but if they're just being racist, they're not even worth it. It's a you figure your fucking life out, dude. I'm out. Yep, it was pretty much diverticulitis. That's it. Nothing to see here. And then it's been a weird journey with this whole thing. I'm actually might be getting a fatty liver. Yeah, the fatty liver thing is actually okay now. Oh, it was fatty liver. It was a few oh, okay, gotcha. My fatty liver situation got sorted out. Like, I stopped drinking. Yeah, the urge to argue is great often, but should be resisted. I agree. I'm not someone who likes to get into arguments. People feel extraordinarily passionate about something. I will say my piece and then back the fuck out, because the reality is like, if someone feels that way, and especially to be like racist and bigoted, there's no way you're going to communicate to them. There's very few people who are like actively like, I want to listen. Very few. Did the FODMAP diet? I need to check that out. I thought diverticulitis was my problem. Doc said no. I've been struggling for almost 2 years at this point. So, to anyone struggling, you're not alone. Yeah. It's awful. It's getting older and dealing with diverticulitis. Fatty liver, not pleasant either. That and some medication I was taking at the time were the reason I stopped drinking. All right, I got to get myself going. I might make. I have the Discord server. I'm gonna probably update there, and if you're on YouTube, I'll probably update on the community post as well. But I might do a stream tomorrow where we'll watch some more of the Andrew Callahan, Nick Fuentes thing. It's the chemicals in our food combining with dishwashing chemicals on our plates. Yeah, technically have it, but it's temporary, I guess, as it is. Just cause of excess weight gain. Well, I got told the same thing. I gained a bit of weight from the age of 21 to, I would say 29, 30. And yeah. But yeah, I'll post. I might do it. You know what? I'm just going to say, fuck it. I'm going to say tomorrow at 2 for a couple hours, we'll watch some more of the Nick Fuentes interview with Hunter Biden. That's 2 p.m. Central Time. It does go away with weight loss. And also there are certain things you can do in terms of like food intake that also help with it as well. Did I do the food intake thing? No, I stopped drinking. I stopped drinking and started working out a little bit more. My dog knows, and I feel bad having him. He shouldn't worry the way that he does, and it makes me feel awful that he feels my pain. Mine is not alcoholic. Yeah, mine was alcoholic, but if it's, you should talk to a doctor and figure out like what are the things you can do. All right, everybody, I appreciate you. I'm gonna try and make it tomorrow at 2 Central, and we'll watch a couple of hours. I gotta bolt a little bit early tomorrow though, because I got some things I gotta get done. So it would be not 5 like we are today. It'll be probably around 4:20. And I'll see you then. But I appreciate you. You guys have a great one. It was a fun stream. Nice to talk with everybody. And